Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to YOMP. And then the music rolls. Dun, dun. Fantastic. Movie podcast.
We've gone unhinged this week. We're on unhinged.
That's what it stands for.
I don't know. It could stand for something else, though. It could stand for something better, like yellow,
Orange,
orchestra,
mauve, purple.
Oh yeah, yellow orchestra magic people.
No, that's on
I love YMO. I'm going to introduce people today. Hi, my name is Booth. Yeah, we're shaking things up.
I had a whole thing planned.
All right, you did the thing. Hi, my name is Booth, and Simon's got a thing to introduce us.
Hello, I'm Simon the Pledge Lane, aka Honey G the Diggy Hole Man, and I'm joined by G.
Hi, my name is G the Turn. Star Games.
Turnstile.
Star Games. And with me is Booth.
I am the Booth, the Prestige Rogerson dead canary in a cage.
Squashed canary.
I am Booth, squashed canary Prestige, aka Sophie. Not very prestigious, but I like that. That was a fantastic intro. I see why you wanted to do that now.
We started off very chaotic. I like the energy today. It's great. It's great.
The energy is because I've written 6,000 words of notes for this film.
Because this film is so good. It's the best. I know it's my pick. I know it's,
it's good that you pick things that you like.
Oh, I love this film.
It's great.
So much.
That's right. It's Christopher Nolan's The Prestige.
He's a bloody genius, that man. He's a bloody genius. He is one of the greatest directors of all time. I love him.
One of the greatest showmen.
The greatest showman. Would you like to give us a quick synopsis of the movie and why you picked it for putting it on your list?
I will give a quickie synopsis and why I put it on my list. It is a movie about two aspiring magicians, and they are constantly just trying to one-up each other. And it gets it gets to a point where it's no longer like they don't like sort of respect one another. I think maybe they do a little bit, but it gets like they both get their hands dirty. Shit hits the fan. It's just like one outdoes the other, and there's twists and turns along the way. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this film. I hold it in such a high regard. It's a masterpiece for me. I love it. I think it's just the best.
Excited to hear Sophie shit on it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I was wondering yesterday, like, how she would feel. Because, like, I feel like you would like... I think you'd like this movie, Simon. I know I'm being presumptuous, but I feel like this seems like your kind of film. But Sophie, I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced.
I like to keep things really like... I play my cards to my chest. I've always got something up my sleeve in these things. Ooh. Like I'm going to reveal things. The big reveal is on the podcast. You see? Really.
That's good. That's good.
I fucking hated it. No, I didn't.
I
couldn't even keep that ruse up for even a second, a millisecond.
I was gonna say, I'm like, no. I thought this was like I thought you'd like this one.
Gee, you pulled out a banger.
Oh my god, could this be the one that
the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Because I hadn't
You
seen
hated
this.
all of them.
I haven't
all of
seen
G's movies.
All
so
of G's
far,
movies.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's like, I think the only one that was like passable from either of ours was Dead Again. I think Booth liked that one. So
I like Ramboat a bit. You know,
you gave it like
passable.
Did you give it a 2?
No, I gave it
gave it 4.
Yeah, that's passable.
Oh,
that's
okay.
fine.
Oh, no, fair enough. I
liked Galaxina a bit.
Yeah. Well, I think like for me, a movie that you would like, I guess, would sit around 6 or 7. I think that for me, that sounds like you genuinely liked this film.
Yeah. Well, we won't get to ratings on this film just yet.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the prestige. That'll be the end.
We're still 2 hours away from talking about that, ladies.
Yeah. Well, how do we want to do this? Because this is obviously this is very spoilery. So anyone listening, we will be talking scene for scene, breakdown, but like revealing the plot as it goes along.
We're very much like was that the program The Magician's Secrets or The Masked Magician, where there was that guy in like the stripy black and white mask, and he would show you how magicians did tricks. And basically he was a secret man, like he was in disguise. But then he finally revealed who he was, and all the
Paul Daniels.
I don't know who's Paul Daniels. I don't know what the magician's version of excommunicating is, but that's basically what happened. If magicians were Jehovah's Witnesses or Scientologists, basically
Kicked out of the magic circle.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Well, like the Illuminati, I guess. I don't know.
Breaking the magician's code, right?
Yeah. Deus Ex.
He was fucking terrifying. Like the mask that he wore. Could you pick something a little bit nicer? Like the Masked Singer at least made an effort.
The Masked Singer.
they made an effort to like, okay, we're not going to make it as terrifying as this man. Can you see
my
that?
God.
Isn't he horrible?
Oh my God. That is.
It looks a bit like one of those cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
Delicious cinnamon bun man.
That is terrifying. Genuinely terrifying.
But me and Rosie, we fucking loved this series. We loved
I love it too.
Yeah. They always had the sauciest ladies in like really stupid outfits as well. It turned out to be Val Valentino.
So you never knew like what he looked like?
You never knew who he was or what he looked like. The first 4 specials in the full series featured incognito magician Val Valentino as the masked magician, performing large-scale illusions and a few smaller scale close-up magic tricks. And then, yeah.
So why are we talking about this instead of the Prestige?
Just because like we're revealing secrets.
Leave her alone. She's talking about something she used to watch that was magic.
I'm going to put this on the list.
Oh my God.
Is it a movie or it's a series?
No, there's 4 series. The first 4 series.
Oh my God.
We've got to watch 4 series. 4 series.
Oh no, it's basically 4 shows. That was brilliant. I loved it. Anyway. We're revealing it. We're all wearing that mask.
Yeah.
And we're revealing all of the secrets about this film.
Oh, I love this film so much. We'll do like a rundown of the scenes like we usually do, and then as it's going to be so hard to like not talk about
spoilers
because it's obviously really, I guess it's integral to the discussion. Because
so if you do want to watch the movie first, then we recommend that.
Yeah, no, I meant like revealing stuff. Like, let's say we're talking about like the key sort of like revelations of the plot. So it's like, do we reveal them right at the end, or do we?
I guess as we go, some things will be like obvious, like how certain people aren't seen very much.
Yeah.
It's like, that's weird.
Yeah.
We can just sort of draw attention to that a bit.
Have you seen this film before, Simon?
Yes, but like not long after it came out. So
2006, 7 then.
Yeah, so maybe 15 years ago or something.
So how much of it did you remember then when you were watching it back?
Well, I mean, I knew all the twists and everything that was
Really?
going to happen. So,
You remembered, okay.
but that's good because it's still fun watching it, knowing what's coming.
So that's one thing that I will mention, I guess, even though, just like a magician's trick, even though you know the reveal, and because I've seen it, it's still like worked. It still worked really well.
Because it's reliant on the drama between these two rivals and their obsession rather than relying on a twist.
Knowing the twists now, I could watch it back and be like,
yes,
I get it now. It's one of those films.
I'm not sure they're even really twists because they don't really change anything.
No,
Like-
yes, they do.
So, they do. They totally do. They totally do. And I mean, in the sense that they are twists, in the sense that I didn't see it coming.
Oh, that's
Right.
I didn't see these things coming. So, like, I had ideas, but I didn't see them.
Yeah,
for what it was.
I'm
until the reveal.
curious as we're going along discussing it, what you were thinking along the way, because, like I said, for me, it's like I know the trick. I know what the magician's trick is. I know what like all the twists and turns are. So, from a perspective of like someone who's never watched it before, I'm curious from your POV, like what you were thinking was happening. What did you think was going on behind the behind the scenes?
Yep, absolutely.
You'll have
And
to
it
let
was
us
a
know.
lot of different things coming into play. And I
awesome.
had a headache before I started watching this, and I
no.
was trying not to let it influence my thoughts. And it was £3.49 to rent it. And I was like, is it really worth it? It's a really old film, you know.
A really old film from you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's fucking
Unbelievable.
nearly 20 years old, Simon.
Don't say that. Oh my god.
It's
Let's put that into perspective so hard.
I did enjoy the opening of the Top Hat Graveyard.
Isn't that like
Which
an epic
act-
fucking shot
Like-
right there?
I
You don't
was
even know what you're looking at.
You don't know what
Yeah.
you're looking at, but there was loads of top hats all over the floor, and I was like, no, it's obviously a graveyard for all the dead musicians. All these hats I'm going to waste.
Oh my god.
That is so
And,
funny.
Michael Cage showing a little girl his collection of canaries, and I had a canary back in the
Oh
day.
no.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a
Did
canary.
you flatten it?
I did not flatten it. I rescued it from my friend.
Oh.
It wasn't a mine, but as a northerner, I really did want to take it down to a mine. I rescued Sonny from my friend who had him in a cage on the floor in her bedroom, and she went away on holiday. And I was like, I'll look after him, and I never gave him back.
Oh my god.
And then I gave it to my grandma and granddad because my cat really wanted to eat Sonny.
Oh Jesus.
We asked him what his name was. We just said loads of words out to him and see what he chirped at, and he chirped at the word hen. So his name was Hen.
I didn't think canaries. Well, I know they can sing, right? But
Yeah, they sing pretty nice. We used to take him out into the garden in his cage, and he was quite scared of butterflies and wasps and stuff, so he didn't really go outside much. But Bert, the toothless cat of my grandma's, did get him out and played with him, unfortunately leading to his demise. My granddad just we saw him walking out to
Flushed
the bin.
him down the loo.
No, we saw him walking out to the bin going, Bird's dead.
oh no,
Tosses him in.
He did.
Bird's dead.
And
Dud.
we insisted that he get him out of the bin and give him a proper burial.
Yeah, a Viking funeral.
We did that to my
Yeah.
friend's hamster, yeah. But
Oh my god.
I love canaries, so I was already off to a great start at this particular stage.
I rented the film, I pressed play, and there's exactly 42 seconds of silence, and then the words "The Prestige" appear on screen. And as it did so, there was a deep voice that said, El Gran Truco. Turns out I had the language set to English Latin America, which is actually like Spanish.
God.
I hadn't changed any setting. It was just on that by default.
I love that.
But that was a surprise. One of the
that's a
biggest
nice
surprises
surprise.
of the film for me, who's already watched it.
The The silence at the beginning. I've been having some problems with my Prime. I bought The Love Witch over the last week to watch, and I was like, the screen was.
That sucks, doesn't it?
Good
Good film, but
good film. The whole thing. The screen was black, and I was like, "Is this supposed to be black?" Because I could hear I could hear everything, and I skipped ahead. I was like pressing the buttons ahead, and it was just a black screen for fucking the whole film. And I was like,
no, what?
I reset everything, and it worked. But I was thinking, oh, is it fucked up again? It hadn't. It had not. Hugh Jackman takes any role where he gets to wear a top hat and a suit, doesn't he?
I was gonna say,
what the fuck? Gee, you've got another pick with Hugh Jackman as the lead, playing a showman set in the 1800s.
Okay, first of all,
what the fuck?
this is not because, okay, I think he's great. I think he's a great actor. I think he's fantastic. But I'm not choosing films on purpose with Hugh Jackman as a fucking showman, okay? But this is a fun fact. The Prestige was the second film that year that he had done a magician movie with Scarlett Johansson. It was a Woody... No, not a Woody Allen movie. What was it? It was... it was a Woody Allen. It was called Scoop. But it wasn't very good. So, but I just found I found that funny.
That is weird.
That is kind of weird. Yeah, he likes his showman, magician... Yeah, con man movies, I guess.
And you like him too.
I love him. He's such a good actor. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So we've got the opening shot, graveyard. What we think is a graveyard of like top
graveyard.
Hats. Yeah,
it's just a woodland with loads of hats all over the floor.
Yeah, it's so good. But then I think that even the second shot of the film is actually a giveaway as well.
Which is
right.
The two canaries.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
The two canaries in the two cages.
Well, I guess it's not really a giveaway. It's more of a wink.
Allusion to,
yes.
Allusion.
Yeah, I said allusion, not illusion. They sound the same in my accent.
So we've got Michael Caine. I love him. You know, he's just Michael Caine playing Michael Caine, really, isn't he? He's
yes, indeed.
Every trick. Hello. Hello. Every
Hello,
trick
Judge.
is made up of 3 parts. The pledge, the bloody turn, and the bloody prestige. It goes like, yeah.
I love when Simon does his Michael Caine impression because
The Ray Skywalker impression. I mean,
yeah, the Ray Skywalker. Have you heard him do the Ray Skywalker?
No, do we?
It's the
do we have
same.
time?
It's the
I
same
just do
thing.
Michael
Yeah,
Caine's voice.
it's just
yeah.
Michael Caine's voice. Yeah.
So
But yeah,
essentially, a magic trick is like telling a story. It's got 3 acts. You set things up. You show an everyday object. Then there's the second part, which is the turn, when the object is made magical. Something extraordinary happens to it, and then the prestige is like the final twist. So you can show someone like a rubber ball. And then they're like, this is an ordinary rubber ball. And then you make the rubber ball disappear, and that would be the turn. And then the prestige is making it reappear.
mm-hmm.
And then you're like, wow. These aren't really terms that are used in magic. It was made up for the novel. But it's fine. It still works.
Oh, I thought it was
cares?
real. I thought it was like
It's real.
That's so cool. I like it though. I like the phrasing. It makes it cool, I guess.
Yeah.
It does. So we have Angier. Are we pronouncing it more French?
I'm going to say Angier instead of Angier.
Angier is huge jacked man.
Huge jacked man.
He does take his shirt off at some stage for no particular reason in this film.
I don't think we see his feet though.
And then we do not see his feet.
No.
He's about to perform a disappearing act. He calls a very poorly disguised Christian Bale to examine, along with other members of the audience, to check that the cage is normal, there's no trickery. It looks like it's a Faraday cage, and there's a big Van de Graaff generator metal orb sparking electricity everywhere above it.
Very dangerous.
Angier wibbles around in the cage, like his face sort of slightly distorts.
It's
As
terrible.
electricity sort of zaps him. Borden, it turns out that's Christian Bale. Spoiler. Borden pushes his way backstage. A man tries to stop and he's like, "You bloody fool, I'm with the act." He's got a great London accent.
I didn't know he was born in Wales, but he's British, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Which is insane because he plays so many like convincing American roles.
He's more convincing as an American than he is as an Englishman, because this Cockney accent he's fucking like this, isn't
love
it?
it.
Hello.
I fucking love it.
He
It's so
sounds
good.
like fucking what's his face from The Boys.
He does.
My name's
Well, if it isn't the invisible cunt.
He sounds like that. He's putting it on, and he's a fucking New Zealander, isn't he, or something?
Yeah. He's like, it's great.
Canadian.
It's
what?
Urban.
So Borde,
Keith
I think
Urban
he's
is-
Canadian, isn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, who cares? We're not talking about him. We're talking about this fucking film.
All right.
Anyway.
So Borden pushes his way backstage. He runs below the stage. There's a fucking weird-ass blind man down there. We can see his corny ears completely white.
Milky.
Milky. And Angier falls through the trapdoor into the tank of water that's directly below it. And he starts drowning as Borden looks on kind of horrified and shocked. So something went wrong, obviously.
We cut to Michael Caine is actually explaining these 3 parts of a magic trick in court. Ooh. Because obviously Borden was in that place at that time and is being he's on trial for the murder of Angier, and basically Michael Caine's character Cutter was telling the court all about how magic tricks work.
And he knows how they work because he's an engineer, which is French for engineer.
Right.
But it sounds fancier.
Shocking.
There's a lot of nods to like French words in this, isn't there?
Yeah, there is actually. And I was very confused as to why.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Christian Bale's character, Borden? Is it Borden?
Yes.
He's on trial because I guess he was there, and there was obviously like the blind hand, the stage hand. So it's like they obviously couldn't see anything. So and then I think Cutter walks in on him. You know, he's there and he's just
Down
like
there.
watching him drown. As far as we know, anyway.
So the implication is that Borden made the trick go horribly wrong by placing the water tank there,
Yes.
ensuring that Angier would drown.
Yes.
Yes.
We learn about this film is learning about the relationship between Angier and Borden and why he is such a suspect in that particular situation. Because
They
it's
have
not
a
just
history.
they have a history, and it's not just the fact that he was down there, you know.
Yeah.
Because
No, because it like without context, we're watching it and we're like, what the hell? Why are they going so hard on this guy? Cutter is like
man.
saying like, oh, he could have moved the tank and it's like 400-500 gallons. It's like, dude, that's a big tank. Like, how would he have moved it on his own? You guys are really.
He's a magician. Ask him.
Yeah,
That's what he says.
yeah, that's true.
Just fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, true. You know, they do all sorts of things.
So this trap shouldn't involve the water tank. That's not part of this part of the act.
Yes, he should have just landed on like a pile of like sacks, bag sacks, or whatever.
Nice comfy pile of sacks. So the judge wants Cutter to explain in private to him because he isn't willing to share because he wants to like sell the act.
yeah, basically, magicians keep their secrets within the secret circle so that when you retire, you can sell it and basically retire off the money
Yeah,
and that as well.
Someone else gets to do the magic trick.
Yeah.
And make money off of it. And the circle continues.
So you can't just be blabbing about how these magic tricks work, you know. So basically, this guy's you can either tell him how the trick was done, or save Borden from hanging. And I don't think Cutter really cares much for Borden anyway, because otherwise he'd be like, oh, yeah.
Well, he's just going to tell the truth to the judge, and then whatever decision is made, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we cut to the prison where Borden is kept under very tight security because he's a magician, and part of his act previously has been like escapology. A lovely, well-dressed man visits him, a solicitor, Owens, who represents someone called Lord Coldlow. Coldlow. He was an amateur magician who's interested in buying Borden's tricks for £5,000. Wow. I don't know how much that is in today's money.
That's a lot of money.
Probably in the millions, wouldn't you say? At least.
You think so? Really? 5,000?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a lot of money.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, around that time, it's a lot. I only have one, and we'll get to this at some point, but it's the question about Angier's money. Like, where does it come from? How is he so? Okay.
Well,
right. Okay.
Well, it's obvious at the end.
No, I don't. I don't actually. I don't get it. You can explain it later.
Of things I don't get, and I'll raise them.
Yeah. That was my only like. What the where? So if you obviously know, you feel free to say it later on.
Yeah. So Borden says that Owen should talk to Fallon, his ingenieur, in order to work out the details. Owen says that he's already spoken to him, but Fallon refused to sell the trick.
Ooh.
The transported man. He suggests Borden thinks it over because he soon will be for the drop, which means he's going to be hanged. The trapdoor will open up and his neck will break. And his poor little daughter will be orphaned and removed from Fallon's care. Have to work in the workhouse.
Such a dick move, though. Like, imagine having someone who could be like a legal guardian, and they're like, no. She's gonna go to the orphan house. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Even though she has like a legal guardian, I'm gonna orphan her. I'm like, that's pretty fucked up.
I mean, the deal is put on the table that in exchange for the transported man trick, Borden's daughter will be made Lord Coldlow's ward, and she will live a life of luxury compared to a life in the workhouse.
Which is already pretty fucking dodgy, because it's like, all right, give me money and your daughter gets to live with this random man.
Yeah.
That's
who's
a
a
lucky
lord.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
it's still
It's like, why? I mean, I guess that in those days, people would sell their kids if they couldn't afford to raise them.
Yeah.
They would be like,
yeah, that's true.
So we have Owens gives Borden Angier's diary as like a little sweetener to the deal. Just very important, because this is one of our narrative devices. There's nested narratives here, which, oh boy, it gets it's slightly mindfucky. I'm sure a lot of people watching this, their brains will just be sparking, and then they wibble around a bit, and then their brains just disappear.
It definitely gets a little difficult to keep track of, like, where in the timeline we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumps around a lot in time and space as well. So Borden is reading Angier's diary, and Angier is on a train to Colorado trying to decipher Borden's notebook that he is in possession of. And this notebook is encoded with a single word as the key, and he doesn't know what this word is, so it's going to take him some time to crack it. And of course, right now we're thinking, why is Angier on his way to Colorado, and how has he got Borden's notebook? And these questions do get answered, thankfully.
Yeah.
So the stagecoach driver at the train station welcomes Angier to the lovely wintry town of Colorado Springs. It's beautiful there. It's a snowy landscape, and there's these bright lights, electric lights throughout the entire town, as provided by a particular man. Is he mentioned yet?
It doesn't really matter.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do mention. But the town's just got electricity, which for like the time period, that's fine. Parts of America did have it.
Start getting it, yeah.
Angier is taken to the hotel where he's the very first guest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He signs the guest book, and I noticed he's left-handed. And Hugh Jackman is left-handed. Turns out.
I noticed that too. I was like, "What? He's a lefty? I never noticed." But
so there we go. Little fact there for you. Little treat.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed that.
Electricity is a kind of magic in it as well.
It is a magic.
It's a kind of magic.
That's why
it is.
It is. Anything sciencey is magical because it's like making these insane things happen. And it's like, how the hell is it happening? But there's obviously a science behind it. That's why they call them wizards instead of magicians. They call them.
There's the famous quote from Arthur C. Clarke, pedophile, who said, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic."
I'm sorry. What?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry. Could you go back to the pedophile part?
Sorry, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that part.
Okay.
So Angier, he requests a coach to take him up the mountain tomorrow, and the manager says, "Oh, the peaks is closed for the scientific experimentation." And Angier says, "That's why I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
We're like, "Oh wow, cool." So the coach takes him up the mountain. He drops him off before the peak, and he has to walk the rest of the way. There's a massive, scary-looking fence with weird signs saying, piss off, no trespassers, stay away, caution. Angier reaches out, touches the fence, and he's just thrown backwards by the powerful electric shock.
I do think that would happen in real life, because usually when you get a shock, like actually, you can't let go because your muscles contract.
So it's the exact opposite.
Well, it depends
how whether he grabbed it as well.
I don't think he did, because I've got the movie running to my left, and I don't think he did grab it. I think he just placed his hand on it.
I have touched electric fences quite a lot in my time.
As one does.
Licked them.
I've licked a few, and they kind of just it's like a massive. I mean, those are for animals though. This is
not boofs.
Not boofs.
You're kind of the size of an animal.
I'm not the size of a cow though, am I? Small cow, maybe.
Calf, yeah.
Although I will say, so the sign says danger electricity, but if you don't know what would the average Joe know what electricity is? I mean, I guess people in that town would, since they've got it. I suppose, but
I think Angier would know what electricity is, but he may not know that there's such a thing as an electric fence.
Gotcha.
I think so.
So it was unexpected.
Right.
Also, you have to remember how scary electricity was to people. There was all that propaganda, like have you seen the pictures of
electricity is the devil?
Yeah, basically. There's people dying all over the place and wires everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's that clip from that woman.
Timmy! That one from the PSA advert from the 80s.
Oh, I was thinking
the
of
kid
the
throws
Downton Abbey
the frisbee.
lady. Of, what's her name? Maggie thing. And she says, I wouldn't be able to sleep
Maggie
a wink.
Smith.
Maggie Smith. She's saying oh, the whole house has got electricity and she's like acting really worried she won't be able to sleep because of it. Like they treat it as some kind of like power
like,
unto
A
itself.
hazard.
I mean, fair enough. Like, I get it because it's like, you know, you had fire all this time, and now it's like this thing that can just
It's
power
Fire
up.
2.0.
Yeah, it's the new patch. But I get it. It's scary. But they were probably
I'm
like,
still
oh my
scared.
god, it's a scary thing. It's very powerful. You know, could kill you, or do other wondrous things, as we have come to learn from this film.
So Angier he gets off the ground, and who does he meet? Who appears? Who's now in the movie?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis.
That kind of circus.
The guy.
I'm gonna go to an Andy Circus.
Played Gollum.
Yes, he played Gollum.
Andy Serkis is now in the movie, and he looks very fresh of face.
He does, doesn't he?
He's gotten very craggy with age, which happens. He is Ali, Mr. Ali, and he's begloved in long rubbery gloves, so he doesn't get an electric shock. So he can safely open the gate. And he go, hey, hello, hey, what's his voice? Hello, you're the Great Danton, something like that. So he recognised him as a magician, the Great Danton, which is Angier's stage name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's like, you know, you guessed what was in 7 people's pockets. And I'm like, that sounds lame. It's not very impressive.
That is pretty cool. I mean, I guess at that time, you'd only have a certain amount of things that you would have in your pockets, right? Like a little watch or a handkerchief or, you know, maybe...
Or a magic ring.
Yeah, or a magic...
Oh!
That's so cool! Check your pocketses. It would be precious.
But Angier says he's here to see Tesla. And it's Tesla. It's Nikki T.
Nikki T.
I got really excited at that point because I fucking love Nikola Tesla. Like,
oh my god.
The whole Edison. This is something else that comes into play. The beef between Edison and Tesla, because I find that stuff just fucking hilarious as well.
Which is quite similar to the rivalry between Angier and Borden. We will see.
But there was a real rivalry between Edison and Tesla, so I thought that was...
There was a war between AC and DC, and then they combined together and they made a cracking band. And then we all got thunderstruck. So, the reason that Angier wants to see Tesla is because he apparently made a machine for a colleague of mine, and we know clearly that he means Borden. Angier has managed to decipher part of the notebook as it like cuts forward. I think he's in the hotel again now. He's deciphered part of the notebook, and it describes a show in 1897, which was just days after he and Borden first met. Angier and Borden first met. And then we see the real-life magician Ricky J.
Yeah!
I was going to say Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
Not Ricky Gervais, no. Ricky J.
Yeah, he's a real magician. The only one that they had to even like give any sort of like pointers. Like I think he taught Christian Bale like sleight of hand stuff as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you know, make sure that you really slam that cage down. Crush that fucking bird.
Oh.
We'll get there to the bit with the bird. It's coming. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
It is really bad. Oh my god.
Oh my god. So Ricky J is playing Milton, who is he's a magician. He's not the best magician, but sure, he gets the job done.
Yeah, we get to the later on when Christian Bale says in like really loud, he's like, he's complacent. He's predictable. He's boring. He's just screaming at the top of his lungs. I'm like,
and his
damn.
wonderful accent.
Yeah.
So good. So they're on stage. A beautiful blonde-haired, corseted young lady walks forward, and Milton asks, "Which of you brave souls is willing to bind this lovely young woman?" And every single man in the audience put their hands up and go, me. By an insane coincidence, the two men that Milton picks, it turns out it's Angier and Borden.
Oh,
Who would have guessed that?
no way.
So, a crazy coincidence. It's definitely not part of the trick. Wink. So Borden ties her wrists, and he gets a look of disapproval from Cutter, who is in the wings watching this, supervising.
Because he sort of drops a knot. When he's tying it, he's like, he fumbles a bit.
He kind of fucks up a bit. He's not good at knots, apparently. And foreshadowing is a literary device. Angier's tying her ankles together, and he gives her a cheeky little kiss on the leg.
And I wrote down, dirty git.
Dirty bastard. But she smiles. She doesn't mind.
But at that time, when you think he's just like a stooge anyway, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
You don't know that they're married at this point.
No.
Turns out.
If I could see you kiss your bloody wife's leg.
I love that. They have to spell it out.
Yeah.
Like, there's some fantastic bits of exposition coming up as well.
Yeah.
Just-
So the lovely assistant is raised up into the air by a winch. Cutter, he has a stopwatch and a fucking axe. He's there timing how long she's going to be in this tank of water that she's going to be dropped into. And he's got a fucking axe just in case she's in there too long.
I thought it was it was threatening Borden.
You fucked up
that. If you fuck
bloody
up
knot
that
again.
knot one more time, I'm gonna fucking have your hands.
That's good. I like that. So she drops into the water. A curtain falls on top of the water tank. We clearly see there's a lock that clicks shut. Cutter starts his stopwatch. Milton's sort of clapping his hands, and then the curtain rises, and the assistant's just stood next to the tank. She's not tied up no more. She's not in the tank anymore. She doesn't really look like she's very wet either, from the look of her.
Yeah, I said that at first. And then it cuts later on to her like getting out of, and drying her hair. I'm like, oh, okay, so she is.
You
What?
think she'd be sopping? It looks like she's just been caught in like a
Think
light shower
Hugh Jackman's
outside.
just been kissing her legs. You'd thought she'd been wetter than that.
Oh my fucking god! WTF?
It's the truth, Simon. It's the
So
truth.
now they're all backstage, and Borden goes on his lovely rant. He's passé. He's bollocks. He just goes off on one. He won't even try a bloody bullet catch. And Cutter says bullet catch is very dangerous. It could be suicide. Audience member could put a button into the barrel.
Some
Doesn't
cheeky little so-and-so could fucking put, God forbid, a bullet.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Love that part. I love that part. It was so good.
So Cutter gives the two boys a challenge to stop them from fighting and ranting. He says, go and visit the Tenley, see Chunling Su, not to be confused with Chunling Fu is the real magician.
Oh.
Right.
Su was also a real magician, but he copied the act of Fu. And he was a white guy that was in yellowface.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I read that. And I was like, wait, what? Who?
Amazing.
He just stole the guy's fucking name, stole his act, stole his race.
Literally.
And this is the guy that they're visiting.
And they've got to figure out how he does the goldfish bowl trick, and whoever figures it out gets to go on stage with Milton for a bit. In it.
In front of Mr. Ackerman, the top theatrical agent in old London town. So they get to show off their skills, and maybe their career will take off. Cutter does bring up the knot tying mistake that Borden made. And Borden says they're using the wrong kind of knot. they should be using a Langford double. But Cutter says that it isn't a wet knot, which I'm not entirely sure what that means.
I don't know what that means.
It makes sense
basically
in
like
a weird way.
If he explains that if it gets too wet and the rope swells up, she won't be able to slip out of it.
Yes.
And the woman's like, "Oh no, it'll be fine. We can practice it. We can practice it." And he's like, "No, because it's too fucking dangerous.
You could break a leg."
I just don't get
worse. Foreshadowing is a literary device.
I just don't get why they were so hell bent on, making a more complex. I know it's a plot device, whatever, but it's just like don't complicate it.
Why bother?
Just fucking
works.
do the knot that you know and get on with it. It works. It's fine. The audience doesn't give a fuck what fucking knot you're tying on this lady.
No,
just
they can't tell.
They can't shit.
Tell. It's just. I think it's his ego thing.
Yes.
Because there's it's like he's telling Borden off because if he fucks up a knot, she could fall. Mm-hmm. So he's like, we can tie this better knot, which is more secure, right? And he's like, no, because that's too dangerous. So basically, it's like you've got to. It's a payoff of whether you want security in one aspect, but it adds more danger.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's very egotistical. Is Borden.
Yeah.
And I thought, why are they being so fucking mean to this man? Like, because I didn't know at this stage that they were just Cutter's like, you fucking idiot! What are you fucking doing?
Well, because
she's like, we'll practice.
I think Angia and his wife were part of the act and have been part of the act for a while. And then he obviously at one point goes, where did you find him? Or something. So that must have been...
Yeah.
Like...
Cutter's brought in the new guy, Borden. He is convinced that Borden's a natural magician. He has a talent for it.
Yeah.
So he's giving him a shot.
Mm.
And this is when we learn that Angie's married to Julia, is the name of the assistant.
Mm-hmm.
It's all revealed. They're all in this scene. And then we get the wonderful scene with the not Chinese magician. There's a drum on one table and a fishbowl on another one, and it feels like we've missed something. Like we're already into the trick, and we've missed part of it. But it's a deliberate choice.
He makes it appear, basically. He makes a fishbowl appear on a table.
Yeah, he's just waving like a cloth in front of the little table that had nothing on it, and then it just appears.
A fishbowl. How do you think he did it? Because
Well,
I wrote down he's using his penis to push the goldfish bowl out of his cloak.
You weren't entirly wrong, though. That's the crazy thing.
You weren't
entirely
like
wrong.
You weren't that far off because they did show it, right? They showed it in the next scene.
Yeah. No, it's 2 scenes later. There's the next scene.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes. The next scene is when Angie and Borden are observing Sue as he leaves. And he's hunched over, he's hobbling, he's covered in his robe, and he's like, just sort of hobbling along, getting onto his stagecoach. And Borden immediately figures out how he does the trick.
Yeah.
He says
Benefit frauds.
He says that Sue is sacrificing his everyday life in order to pull off this trick. And then it cuts to Angier in his bedroom with his wife, and he's messing around. He's covered in a sheet. He's hobbling around, hunched over, like Sue was. And then he whips off the sheet, and it reveals he has the fishbowl tucked between his legs. He's sort of bow-legged, with his knees and thighs clutching this fishbowl.
But where the fuck did the water come from?
Piss.
I guess it...
No, he's doing it the whole time. He goes on stage with a fucking fishbowl in his legs.
Oh my!
His willy dangling into the fishbowl, and the fish is going, no, not again.
Oh my god!
I wasn't sure. I think it starts off with a full fishbowl with a goldfish on. He makes it disappear, i.e. it's between his legs, and then he makes the empty one reappear somehow.
No.
So he swaps the two.
I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
full fishbowl appear. Like,
yeah.
And my God, that would take some fucking doing, you know?
Instead of being this barely mobile man, he's actually incredibly strong to be able to pull this off.
This is exactly like that that program where they catch out people that they say that they're disabled and they need all the benefits, and then they follow them around with the camera and they say, "Here, what you fucking doing?" I think it was that man that looks like Shrek, Dominic someone.
The guy that used to be a burglar.
Yeah, and he would like chase people down and be like, "I thought you couldn't walk.
Oh what are you doing up this ladder? Cleaning windows?
Fucking doing?" Yeah,
it's
like the olden day version of that, isn't it?
Well, he's obviously very dedicated to the bit to the point where he, even outside of the show, is dressed like that, looks like that, and walks like that. So whenever he's a white man. Every time he's in public, he has to go out wearing full makeup, dressed in his robe, hunched over and hobbling like he can barely walk. Yeah. He has to live his life like that as the act.
Remember this,
this
audience.
is important.
Yes, this is very important.
And it's strange that Borden just figures it out so quickly.
He figures out a lot of things very quickly, aside from like a couple things, obviously. But
I mean, there's literally a very good reason why he knows this, G.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no.
What do you mean, no? This is literally the thing that is revealed at the end of the movie.
What?
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, but like, no, yes and no. It's not as straightforward. Well, because he's like, he's dedicated his whole life and being to this thing, but just because he's dedicated his life to walking like that or whatever, like, it still doesn't, like, how do you go 1 + 1 = 2? Like, how did he know that the fishbowl was between his legs?
It's just, it's just like, that's what he'd do, I think. I think he's a smart man.
Yeah.
And he's he's like thinking, well, where would you hide a fishbowl? Because that's what I would do. I would probably, like, he's looking at him and he's thinking like, oh, okay, so he's hunched over. His gait is very weird. Maybe he's got it in between his legs.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Maybe he's just got a massive fucking package, you know?
Yeah. Maybe
elephantitis of the testicles.
Yeah, he just holds the bowl with his balls.
Have you seen them monks that are able to swing weights off their dick and balls?
What?
Of course I have.
Yes.
Of course.
Simon knows this. Gee, you've got a lot to learn. I think it's basically like that. He's just able to dangle a fish from his testicles.
Just fucking
Sophie will send you some links later.
Yeah, I'll send you some links.
Great. Can't wait.
So the lovely Julia is in bed and she comes up with Angie's stage name. She thinks it's fantastic. The Great Danton.
Bollocks, that.
He wasn't into it, but she was like, I think it's great.
So it's at this point, I'm like, wait a minute. This is Borden in his prison cell reading Angier's diary, in which he's writing about reading Borden's notebook. So if this is in Borden's notebook, how did Borden know this conversation took place between Angier and Julia in their bedroom?
I'm confused. You've confused me with that wording.
Anyway,
there's a lot of things that I don't really understand very much.
We go up at like a dream level, like it's the movie Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan. And Angier's reading the notebook, and then we go up again, and Borden's reading the diary. And I was like, this is what I was literally just thinking. And then it happens. And I'm like, okay. So we still don't know how. I mean, obviously, Angier has decoded the notebook, but we haven't seen how he does that yet.
Right. We just think he's really fucking smart.
We haven't quite seen that part of the story. The whole thing is pretty out of order in all these flashbacks.
That's the bit that really fucking confused me. It threw me for a loop. Is all of the different, all of the different bloody like back and forth wasn't very clear at the time.
I think that's intentional because, like, this is the trivia, but there was 146 time jumps.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
One time
Fucking
jump per
hell.
minute on average. So there you go.
No, that's bullshit. I don't believe that.
Apparently.
Well,
I like, because
I'm not sure
if
I
there was
believe
that
that.
many, then I wouldn't be able to follow it. Honestly,
I don't know. It does jump around a lot, guys. Like,
it jumps around a lot, but like not that much that it's like multiple every
there's
minute.
probably there's probably like a few scenes where there's a series of flashbacks together,
Yeah.
and that counts towards it.
yeah,
I
I
guess
think
so.
so.
So it's not that insane.
Because like just now, I'm because I've got the movie running on the left, and it's like literally they've jumped to three instances in the span of like 15 seconds.
That was a big one. That was a big one because we're going back up to like the present to remind us.
Yeah.
That this was a flashback.
Literally, yeah. So I do believe that there were a lot of jumps.
Confused me, but I know it was on purpose.
Yeah.
They were confusing me on purpose.
Yeah, there was a point.
So I think Angier looks at a picture of his wife and he looks a little bit sad. So there's an implication that maybe something has happened to her. And Borden's we know that Borden has a daughter, and if Borden is hanged, she'll be an orphan.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he had a wife, and something's happened to her too.
Mm.
So they share that in common, so that's nice.
That's nice. Bonding.
So then we have a flashback, which I don't think is related to the fucking books. And Borden's assisting a magician in this theatre that's pretty much fucking dead. There's only a few people there. It looks pretty shit and scuffed. And this is when we get the fucking first bird trick.
First bird.
The magician has a bird in a cage on a table, and he slaps the fucking bird cage down. It's covered in a cloth. He slaps it down. Smack. A fucking little boy in the audience starts crying, and he goes, "He killed it! He killed the birdie!"
That kid has massive fucking ears. They are the biggest ears on a child.
Oh my god, Boof.
I hope he grew into them.
Yeah.
Poor lad.
Like, fucking hell, that is some big ears.
Oh my
The
god.
magician brings back the bird, but the boy's still crying. And Borden even comes up to him and with the bird in the cage, and he's like, "Look, see, he's all right." And then the boy says, "But where's his brother?" Foreshadowing is a narrative device, in which a storyteller gives an advanced hint of. So, yeah. So Borden's in his bedroom, which is filled with these little fucking birds in cages. They're everywhere.
I'd love to live in that.
Dozens.
I'd love to live there.
Dozens of these fucking birds that get murdered every night.
Oh god.
He opens up a secret drawer that's in the table, and there it is.
Voila.
This squashed bird in a flattened cage.
Poor thing.
I wrote, no, I hate this movie.
Oh.
Squishy bird time.
No.
It's rough.
It is rough. Yeah.
So I guess the implication here is that Borden is the ingénieur of this magician, and he came up with the trick, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that is kind of fun. Well, he was always like going on about how he was always willing to get his hands dirty, right? In order to like,
he brings that up.
He brings that up a lot. Like, he's so much better than Angier and like all these other guys because he's just willing to go the extra mile.
He's willing to do anything for his magic.
Yeah, he just goes above and beyond. But yeah, and that involves getting blood on his hands.
Literally.
And it also involves getting puss. Because he meets up with this little boy who is the nephew of Sarah, a lovely, illegible young lady.
You started off with he gets puss and then followed up
boy.
with
He met up with a little boy.
he makes a coin appear behind the little boy's ear out of nowhere, and it's got two heads. And he says, he says the important words, the secret impresses no one. The trick you use for it is everything. And I'm like, wow, I'm 14 and this is this is the fantastic moments coming up. He escorts the lady, Sarah, home, back to a shitty little hovel. It's awful.
It's really bad.
He's like, spitting feathers. I could
do
die for
with a cup of tea.
cuppa.
And I was thinking I could really do with a fucking cup of tea.
So
that's what I was
if you
thinking.
pause the movie, she made a cup of tea.
I did actually do that.
Well,
yeah. I had a cup of tea and a sit down.
Oh.
So Sarah, she's not having it. She says, what would the landlady think? And then Borden says, and he points towards the lock, and he's like, "You think that's is that enough to keep me out?"
Yeah.
Which, oh boy.
Yeah.
So he breaks in, and she's charmed by that. Honestly.
Yeah. It's incredibly well timed. She unlocks the door. He walks away. She walks inside her hovel, closes the door, turns around, and he's there holding the kettle. He's holding the kettle, and he's got his cock out.
He Neil Breen. You want
to have some of my cream?
He broke into her house, like Neil Breen.
He broke into her house.
It's so good. It goes from insanely creepy to charming. No,
it doesn't. It continues to be insanely creepy. Just because the lady goes,
laughs. She likes it. She's charmed by him.
I am so charmed that this man broke into my house when I said no.
I thought they were just doing like some role play, and
oh no. Oh, God, no.
That's what I thought.
She breaks a painting over his head.
I genuinely was like, they're playing that he's not going to go in. And
Bitch.
I mean, when he broke in, I thought, Neil Breen. But
Neil Breen,
I thought they were like, just doing a cheeky little role play. And then he's like, I'm here.
Hell.
Let's get freaky. Let's go.
We need Twisted Pair to be remade by Christopher Nolan.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That's what I
Starring
said
Christian
to
Bale.
you guys.
This is what we need.
Give it to a good director. Is it going to be good? Will it be good? But you're both like, no. And honestly,
I think he can pull it off.
Yeah. It would be quite the source material to be working with. Let's just say that. But yeah, so we move on from him at her apartment, and then it does.
We're in the present.
Yeah,
again.
it goes to the present. We don't have to go over every single, because there's a lot of.
A lot's important. That's the thing. So Cutter's got this case that contains Angier's magical machine that he uses for the transported man. And the judge is there, and he informs Cutter that this machine's been sold to Lord Coldlow. Cutter says the machine was made by a wizard, and it's dangerous. It's not magic. There's no trick. It's real. And then they look at the water tank, and Cutter says, "There's a little hatch here. The magician can poke his hand through to remove the fake padlock, but this is a real padlock."
Please, if you're gonna do any lines from Michael Caine, please do the accent. I'm
trying. I'm trying a bit.
It's good. It's so good. I love it.
So then we have, oh boy, then we have Milton again with the water tank trick with Angier and Borden tying their knots onto Julia, and it kind of looks like Borden's doing something different with the knot, but you can't quite be sure, maybe.
No, you are, because she nods.
Yeah, he's looking at her, and he's like, "Should I do it?" Like he's sort of implied, "Oh, should I do it?
Should we do it?"
And
yeah.
She sort of does a subtle nod.
She's raised up by the winch, dropped into the water tank. The lid slams shut. The curtain goes over it. Cutter's got his stopwatch and his axe, as per usual, but it's taking longer than usual. Julia's fucking drowning! The curtain's whipped off. Cutter's got the axe. He's hacking away at the glass, trying to break it, but it's taking too long. It's not breaking. It's taking too long. And then it finally breaks open. Water and Julia spill out everywhere. She's fucking dead.
You'd think they make this glass more easy to break, right?
Well, it wouldn't be able to hold the water if it was easier to break. No, because water's absolutely like there's a lot of pressure.
Right,
in that.
gotcha.
It's that's like 400-500 gallons, I think they said, or something.
Yeah.
I wrote viewers in the front 2 rows may get wet and dead woman on them.
just got fucking waterboarded.
Yeah, they're all wearing like those see-through plastic Macs, which is weird because they've not been invented
and
yet.
cheering. Way!
It's such a I don't know if I want to call this a fun fact because it's not fun per se.
Oh my god, a woman just died.
That's hilariously fun.
It's such a fun fact. So CPR was not invented. It was not a thing. That's why they didn't try to resuscitate her.
That's crazy.
I mean, it is kind of crazy because, I was like, why? She literally was like breathing like a second or two right before the glass broke. Just fucking give her CPR. But
all those people that died needlessly.
Yeah, because
we didn't know about CPR.
It came
That's
about.
Really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it came about in the 1950s, 1960s.
Oh my god!
And do you know what the training dummy was from?
No.
The CPR training dummy.
Yeah.
Was it one of the fucking props from Frankenhooker?
Yes. No, basically the CPR dummy was taken because it was a woman who died in the Thames and they took her death mask. So basically every time you're
fucked up.
Jesus.
Every time you're doing CPR on somebody, like practicing it, you're doing CPR on the actual real face of a dead woman.
Oh.
Her ghost, she just stood there over all these like first aiders practicing and she's like, Really? This is kind of taking the piss.
That is kind of insane, to be honest. This poor woman.
The next scene is at the funeral of Julia, and Angier is arguing with Borden.
Quickly before that, and I don't know why he's doing this, but you got Angier fucking waterboarding himself.
He's like drowning himself in a sink.
I don't know if he's like trying to test whether or not he could hold his breath longer than his dead wife. Now dead. I'm like, what is the point of this? Is he trying?
I don't know whether he's trying to kill himself or.
Yeah, I was confused. And then he's like weeping after he gets his head out of the sea.
My wife is dead.
My wife.
He doesn't actually do that.
No, he's just weeping on the floor, and then it cuts to the funeral scene.
Then we got the funeral with Angier yelling at Borden, who has the fucking audacity to show up. And he's yelling at, Which knot did you tie? Which knot did you tie?
He wasn't yelling at him.
I don't know. I don't know.
He wasn't yelling at him.
As he walks away.
And he was like, how can he not know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and at the time I'm thinking, yeah, how could you not fucking know? And I know how you couldn't know.
Well, I was like, I'm forgetful. I'm very forgetful. So, like, if I do something or if I have, I didn't remember what I had for dinner last night. So I'm like, I get you. Borden.
Yeah.
I get you. I understand.
You don't know whether he's saying that just because he doesn't want to invoke the ire of Angier.
Yes.
Or whether he genuinely doesn't remember or whether it's something else.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is a good reason for why he wouldn't know.
Whenever he says that he doesn't know, though, it's very convincing. He's like, I don't know.
Almost as though he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
And I love that. I love it so much because, again, throughout the film, anytime he is saying something, it's very believable. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool because it's just it's amazing. It's so well done. It's so well done. We'll get to that point, but he's great. And then it cuts from the funeral to I think him and Sarah. She's coming back
in the hovel.
In the hovel.
And I was like, I was thinking like, well, I guess their relationship is going okay despite the break-in.
Oh god, yeah. It's thriving, actually.
She was fine with it. She laughed. She's having a baby.
She's having a baby.
We briefly meet a gentleman called Fallon, who just sort of like leaves.
Yeah, he was just sat there and then he just gets up and...
He's Borden's ingénieur. So that's nice. Maybe we'll see more of him later in the movie.
I'd like to.
His right-hand man, so to speak.
Yeah, his dude. His ride or die bitch.
Yes.
Borden is planning a bullet catch trick, and we know how dangerous this is. He has a very special magical gun. This trick is so lame, by the way. It's so fucking lame. He asks Sarah to shoot him with the gun. She doesn't want to. But basically, it fires like nothing because the trick is you just tilt the gun forward and the bullet rolls out the barrel before you fire it. That's it. That's the trick.
That's the trick.
It's so lame.
Yeah, but it's good sleight of hand and it adds a bit of danger to everything. Like, there's the element of danger.
Could put something in the barrel to replace it.
Replace it with a button or anything.
Or maybe even a bullet.
Or even a bullet.
But who would do such a thing? Anyway, we cut to Angier, who's practicing sleight of hand with a bullet.
Also, like,
crazy.
you know, Penn and Teller, when you sign a bullet, it also adds a little bit of that, ooh, it's so cool, you know, because now they sign bullets and it goes through glass. They really up the stakes these days. But back then, you know, people were a bit stupider. So it's fine, it makes sense.
You know, the late 19th century, it was
everybody was thick.
Why did you say it's a dumb trick? I actually think it's quite a cool trick.
I think it's a cool trick.
I think it's a cool trick.
I think it's incredibly lame. The entire trick is you just tilt the gun forwards, the bullet rolls out.
Now,
That's
here's
it.
the thing,
because
Simon,
you know what it is.
You know how it's done.
Yeah.
If you didn't know how it was done.
Yeah, like I've seen this film and even I forgot like how they do it. And then I'm thinking, holy shit, like how is he catching this bullet with his hand? That's awesome.
It just goes to prove that the secret isn't really important, is it? The actual method of doing it.
Exactly. But it's cool because she was like, now that you've said it, it's fairly obvious. I'm like, shut up. Like, it's
shut
such
up, bitch. You never would have guessed it. Come on, what do you know?
Exactly. I was like, come on, it's a cool trick. But yeah.
So Angie is fucking around with a bullet, doing sleight of hand with it, making it appear and disappear and whatever, and we're like, oh no.
Oh no.
We know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. Borden is performing under the stage name The Professor, and the crowd fucking hate him. They hate his guts.
I feel so bad for him, honestly.
They're catcalling or heckling, I guess. They're not catcalling.
They're heckling.
All right, love. Lovely pair of fucking milkers on you. They're not saying that to him.
Love.
Go on, love. Show us a bit of tit. Go on. They're not saying anything like that to him.
I kind of like his stage name, The Professor. It's pretty. It's cool.
I think it's shit.
Really?
It's very shit.
I don't know. I think it's because it brings a level of like, I don't know.
Prestige.
Prestige. But yeah, they fucking hate him. They're like heckling him. They're throwing shit at him.
He's doing the fucking, like the two solid rings and they one passes through the other. That is a real lame trick.
Is it because there's like an opening? Like a slight
there's a little
opening.
gap in the ring.
Yeah.
It's always Occam's razor. It's always the simplest explanation is how they do the trick generally.
Well, just like how Cutter was saying to you know who. So, it's this. I know it's too simple.
We'll get there.
I know.
The crowd want to see the bullet catch trick, and so Borden pulls out the fucking gun, waves it around, pointing at the audience. They shit themselves a bit and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He asks for a volunteer from the audience. He hands the gun to a bearded gentleman that he doesn't really look at, which was a mistake.
Why wouldn't you?
Turns out.
First of all.
Turns out you should really look the person in the eye, have a good look at their face, just in case it's your rival magician. So he hands this gun over to the man and he asks him, "Are you man enough, sir?" And then Borden realizes who he's looking at. It's Angier. He says, yes. Which knot did you tie, Borden? I don't know why his Australian accent's back. And Borden's like, I don't know. And Angier fires the shot, but I believe Fallon whacks the gun.
Yes.
Slightly. So it's not a mortal wound.
Yeah.
It merely blows off two of Angier's fingers.
Yes.
And the crowd fucking love it. They are laughing their
They
asses off.
love it. I told you, this is exactly why people love that trick. But also, I wrote down, like, I drew a lovely picture here of a hole in a hand, and he could just put things through the hand, and that's a new magic trick.
Is that
And
what
you know
Jesus
that trick
did?
where somebody like pretends to take their thumb off and their fingers?
Oh my god! Yeah.
It's perfect.
Oh my god! He should have done that. The grabbing someone's nose as well.
Yeah.
Oh my
He did that with
God.
a thumb. He didn't lose his thumb, so he's fine to do that.
Yeah, it's a bit trickier, isn't it?
Borden is writing in the notebook. He confesses that he truly cannot remember which knot he tied on Julia that night.
Yeah, even in his diary, because he's like, oh,
Yeah.
surely he would admit it here, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he was going to admit it anywhere, he would.
And he was like, how could he not know?
Yeah. Which is
We go
very
up a
disappointing for him.
flashback. We flash up. Angier's reading the notebook, and then we go up again to Borden reading the diary in which Angier was reading the notebook.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then we go back down again as Borden has a flashback. He's got a fucked up hand. Sarah's treating it, and she's like, it's like it's hardly healed at all. The baby's fucking crying and wailing. Things are not going well in that household.
Yeah, don't get the doctor.
they've had a bit
Can't
of a
afford the
setback.
doctor. Like,
They ain't got the money coming in.
nope.
And then we
Things are
cut
not
to
looking good.
Angier. Angier in the pub enjoying a delicious lager beer. And it
Mm.
looks good.
Hmm.
He finishes his pint and he notices that stuck to the bottom of the glass is a playing card.
Interesting.
And
A very little tiny playing card, though.
Very cute.
He looks behind him and Cutter's there and he does like a little sort of nod. And it's like, I've seen you do that so many times, Michael Caine. That's like one of your things.
It's the Michael Caine move where he just nods, and he's drinking
He says-
a something at his table.
He's drinking a something.
He's drinking a
He's
something.
drinking something.
Nice little theatre. Good up and coming magician. He says like that. And he's booked a show for Angier. Because Cutter really needs a job, because no one will hire him because of Julia's fucking drowning to death in a
Yes.
trick gone horribly wrong.
Correct. Because the
Oh.
other two, so Angier and whatever, Christian Bale's character, are just, they weren't actually, well, they were part of the show, but they weren't like officially part of the show. They would just go up there and tie her up, and that's it. So they weren't
They were
like,
the Stooges. They were,
yeah.
but they saw him trying to revive her and shouting her name.
True.
So they knew, instantly they knew
that there was the connection there. Yeah, it
that
wasn't just
they were plants. You
Yeah.
know, so
I don't think the audience cared too much at that point because the woman fucking
But-
died.
the theatre, the people that book the theatres probably knew and cared.
yeah, that's
quite a bit.
true.
Like, cared about a woman dying on stage.
Can't
and-
believe these fucking losers caring about
Yeah.
women. What the fuck is this?
Oh my god.
This next
They
part.
can't even vote.
This
I know.
next part is like my favorite because of how like the contraption that he gets him in, where he's like dressing
It's
him
amazing.
up. It's bloody. It's intense. It's,
We meet Olivia, who is
Ugh.
Scarlett Johansson. What do you mean, ugh?
with the worst fucking English accent known
She's
to man.
beautiful, though.
Yeah, but
Her accent's not
is-
that bad.
It's not bad.
You
but
know,
it's
maybe
like,
maybe she lived overseas when she was young, and she moved over to London.
I did
You know, it's
write in
It's
my
plausible.
fine.
notes. I wrote in my notes. I can't tell if her accent is bad or if I'm just used to her in her like American accent, and it's just weird seeing her with a.
A lot of accents were fucking batshit insane around this period of history. For
Yeah.
Oh, they
another
were, yeah.
20 or so years. Because of the like large amount of immigration and people just
Yeah.
having the wildest accents,
Mhm.
picking up and inventing new fucking dialects.
That is true. That is true.
So sure, So we meet Olivia, and this is when we see the steampunk waistcoat, which is how I describe it.
It's this new trick that he's been doing.
He says he doesn't want to. I think Angier says he doesn't want to kill birds, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Angier's
He's
not into killing birds, and Cutter's like, if you want to make an omelette, you got to break a few eggs. He doesn't actually say that, but that's implied.
In my notes, and Booth isn't gonna get this because it's in the Batman movie, but I put, what's the point of killing all those bloody doves if you ain't gonna do the bloody magic trick? Because in I don't know which Batman
when
movie
he's got
it is.
It's the first one.
I think
yes, the first one. It's when Wayne Manor is on fire and he's what's the point of doing all those bloody push-ups? You can't lift a flaming bloody bit of wood off your back.
Yeah, because this Wayne Manor is like crumbling and on fire, and Bruce Wayne can't even he's this big henchman, right? You know, and he's sort of given up, and he can't even lift this bloody log. And that line from Michael Caine's character just has stuck with me forever.
But it turns out no birds need to die because of how this trick works.
The way he sets it up is majestic. It's so
There's like
cool.
an Assassin's Creed blade type thing, but it's not a blade. It snatches up
like
the
a
cage,
pulley?
the flattened cage.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where the fucking bird goes, but it goes somewhere.
It goes up his
and it's
sleeve,
fine.
I think.
Are
Yeah,
you sure?
it must do.
Yeah, because he's got two hooks on his up his sleeves, and then you see that the dove afterwards has loads of little strings attached to him. So.
Oh,
Because I'm looking now at it.
Good boy.
And oh, right. Yeah, he's pulled the bird. The bird has strings on him.
Very beautiful boy.
Oh, he's such a cute little boy.
so it's fine. No birds need necessarily die now. They've devised a way of doing the disappearing bird
Without
cage.
having to kill. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty pog.
Pretty pog.
So Angier it cuts forward. He's in a huge theatre. He's performing his disappearing bird trick, but possibly for the first time.
Yeah, I think it's maybe the first time.
He asks for two volunteers and a well-dressed lady and a gentleman whose face we oddly don't quite see. Come up onto the stage. And it's time to make the bird disappear, and he asks them to put their hands on the cage. Oh, it's Borden. It's fucking Borden.
No.
And he puts his hand on the cage and flattens it, smashes it closed with his hands. The bird is fucking squished to death. Blood spurts over the lady.
Yeah.
Apparently it breaks her fingers as well. The cage closing on her hand. Horribly wrong. It's all gone horribly wrong. Why don't you fucking just check who these people are?
Yeah, you should probably check and inspect their faces. But I guess it would look sus if he's and if any time someone was to come up on stage and he's just eyeing them down and looking at them in the face. As if
I did write down, I am this was something that I just missed on my notes. I wrote down, I am misdirected by her misdirection.
Nice.
Because she has a fucking good pair on her.
Oh,
in this.
Scarlett Johansson,
is pushing it up.
Yeah, it's great. I put
homina.
So one of my notes in this part was, because I think he was saying something about a handkerchief. He wanted I think one of the men to use a handkerchief during the trick. And then I wonder if men had wankerchiefs as well.
Can we edit this out? Can we edit out?
No, leave it in. Do you think when they had their handkerchiefs, they had one for wanking too?
Yeah, and they would take that out with them to the theatre as well.
I genuinely want to know.
For fuck's sake.
Oh, God.
Okay, moving on.
So the show is done. They were going to have a whole week of doing this show, and it's cut short due to this horrible accident. This lady breaking her fingers.
I want to know.
Bird dying in front of everyone.
Scarlett Johansson's Olivia, she picked the people out of the crowd. What are the chances of her picking him out of all those people? And obviously the woman, but there was a lot of people in that crowd, and she picked him. But it seemed a little sus, but I don't think they'd met at that point anyway.
No, I don't think so.
It just seemed very odd to me.
Yeah.
But maybe he'd been to multiple shows at that point, and we just saw the instance where he does end up getting picked, and he obviously fucking three-fingered.
Maybe, but there was only supposed to be a week of shows, so he couldn't have been that many fucking.
Right.
I reckon it was the first night because that's funnier. It just goes wrong immediately.
That would be hilarious.
And I said that I'd like to have a film where it's just magicians trying to do things and then fucking them off instantly. And that's kind of how it goes.
And every trick a bird dies.
Trick a bird is taken from us.
Yeah.
Just fucking implodes. Gets
Rest in
smashed.
peace, little fella.
Oh.
It's alright, there's plenty more where he came from. There's fucking birds everywhere.
I mean, there was a scene of Christian Bale's character dumping a dead one into the waste, the bin. Just the next one, I guess. Here we go. Fucking put him in the cage.
Cutter tells Angier that you got to come up with a new trick, and if you want inspiration, there's an exhibition at the Albert Hall where engineers and scientists will show off new technology, new innovations, and the public would respond well to seeing something thematically similar to get their juices flowing. So to speak. And then it cuts to the hotel in Colorado again. Mr. Ali arrives, Andy Serkis. We're going to just pronounce it like that. He wants to have a little drinky poos with the great Danton, a.k.a. Angier. He explains the reason that Tesla chose this location is because of all the storms. And, lightning's very important for his sciencing stuff.
His work.
Electricity, etc.
And he usually does his experimentation during the night because he doesn't want to scare the...
Doesn't want to scare everybody.
Doesn't want to scare the people.
Angier tells Ali that he's discovered a secret in the notebook, and the secret is why he's here. It's the machine that Tesla built for Borden, and Angier wants Tesla to make one for himself. Ali takes Angier for a nice romantic stroll in a field overlooking the town. It's quite late now, and he explains Tesla does his experiments at night. He uses all the power that is used to light up the town. So all of that power is redirected when everyone's asleep, so they don't even notice.
Yeah.
We see all the lights in the town go off, and then the field just lights up. There's thousands of fucking light bulbs in the ground.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And
I
the
didn't
real
really
magic...
get that.
The real magic is there's no wires connecting any of the lights. They're powered wirelessly.
Is it because there's just so many currents running through the ground? It's
advanced Tesla technology that he's created.
Right.
The generator that powers these lights is 15 miles away. So
Which is
somehow...
even more impressive.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. How the fuck he has done this, even to this day, we don't know. But then this isn't real. This is a movie. Tesla didn't actually do this. We then go back to the Albert Hall. Well, not back to the Albert Hall, but to the Albert Hall, and this is where Angier is going to check out some of these crazy inventions. Tesla's here, and he's going to give a speech, so he's keen to see that because Tesla's a big, important scientist man.
He hadn't met him at that point either. He'd just been dealing with Ali.
He still hasn't met him in the previous scene.
Yeah, he hasn't met him at all at this point. He's only been dealing with Ali.
We're flying backwards and forwards in time, which is a little confusing. There's giant metal orbs firing off fucking electricity everywhere, and people are starting to freak out, possibly because of Edison's
smear
fucking
campaign.
shit stirring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the funny part to me is people were, obviously skeptical and scared about electricity. But imagine them seeing these two metal pillars, these conduits in this room, and it's just fucking loud blue electricity whipping around the room. Yeah,
Sparking electricity.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
It's cool as fuck, but like, imagine not knowing electricity and seeing that. You'd be like, yeah, that's fucking terrifying.
Have you seen the guys in like the suits that actually? So there's the reveal of Tesla in a bit, and it's like he couldn't do what he does in that particular bit without a fucking suit on, which is like to stop it from arcing through his body and stopping his heart.
Mm-hmm.
He's just wearing all rubber. Because the rubber gloves work.
Yeah,
of course.
But under his suit,
that.
he's just wearing like a gimp suit. I think that's how it works.
Yeah,
that's the magic. Also important at this talk, which Tesla doesn't show up to in the end. Borden's there. We see Borden just like nosing around. And Ali is there, and he explains that Tesla refuses to be drawn out and to get involved in all this Edison rivalry bullshit. There's the scene where Angier's got his wife and child, right?
No.
Borden's got his wife and child.
Borden's got his wife and child.
Angier is the one that follows Borden.
Yeah.
And sees his
Sarah.
little baby and his lovely wife, Sarah.
Yeah.
And this is the happiness that could have been his. It's been stolen from him.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
And
awkward.
It's a little, got feels.
He's
got feels about it.
Yeah, it feels conflicted.
It's like he's living the life. Borden's living the life that he should have been living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he says, he's not actually that happy.
Right.
Is that the bit where he says he's not that happy? Yeah.
In his journal, I think.
In his journal, he's written down that he's like
Not
concentrating on magic more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's his life, really. Magic, not his family.
He's really taking it like, it's not fair. He's got all this and he's not even happy.
Yeah.
Just ungrateful.
Ungrateful man.
So we shoot back to the present, and Borden's in prison meeting his daughter, which is possibly for the very last time, because he's going to be hanged. She's apparently got a new doll, but we don't actually ever see it, which is weird. Right?
Who has a new doll?
He's asking her, what are you going to call it? What are you going to call it? What are you going to call your little friend that you're going to talk
Sarah. To? That's really sad because that's her mum's name.
But it's really weird that it's implied that she has like a doll or something, but we never see it.
That's true, yeah. Maybe it was either cut out or...
I thought we did see it, but maybe I was misremembering.
No, I don't think we do see it, because I'm like, I've got the movie running just so I can reference scenes as we're talking about it, and I don't see the doll pop up. It's not shown.
Okay.
He's looking at
Strange.
it. He looks down as if she's
but
holding it.
We don't fucking see it.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's very bizarre.
Fallon is with her, and he says, yep, she's destined for the workhouse for the rest of her life.
Mm.
And at this point, Borden hands over the business card that Owen gave him, and he says he's willing to sell the trick, the transported man, in exchange to get his daughter being raised by this weird lord, rather than her work in the workhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Just fair enough. Borden is then bullied. There's a wonderful scene where he's writing down some of these notes, presumably on how the trick is done. And a guard just bullies him out of nowhere. He says, oh, you little fucking magician prick. Oh, yeah. And Borden tries to do a little trick with his red rubber ball, which is apparently he's allowed in prison. And he kind of messes it up.
It's harmless, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's supposed to disappear, but he kind of drops it, and it drops onto the floor, and he's like fumbling around, and I'm like, come on, who are you fooling here? The guard, apparently. He's fooling the guard.
Oh no, I felt really bad. I felt really sad when he fumbled that, because I'm like, oh no, he's He's losing his magician ways.
Yeah.
He's
magician magic.
Yeah, I felt
Left
really. I'm like, oh, he's so pathetic. I'm so sad. But then
Borden, he gets up, he backs away from the guard, and the guard like goes towards him. But turns out now the guard, his leg is chained up.
Yeah,
Borden did the old switcheroo with the chain.
Switcheroo. I was like, there he is. There's the dickhead we all know and love.
The prisoners go apeshit. They fucking love it. It's the funniest thing they've ever seen in their lives. But they probably don't get much entertainment in prison. They didn't
I'd be impressed. Like, you're chained up and all the guards have like such a power complex and they're all, you're the one in chains and he's just managed to put the fucking leg chain on the guard. I'd be like, hell yeah, dude. That's
pretty
awesome.
fucking... Yeah, that's pretty good.
Impressive.
Good trick.
Good trick.
Oh, and then we get to the best part.
We're back to Colorado. Tesla has agreed to meet Angier, and this is when we get the reveal of who is playing Tesla. Sophie, what did you make of this scene?
I thought the CGI was absolutely garbage of the electricity.
Really?
Yeah, it looks cheap. I mean, it was pretty cool though. And David Bowie appears out of the electricity, playing Nikola Tesla. And
I love it.
He looks really cool despite the awful CGI. And this is the bit that I was referring to when I said, "Oh, he'd be dead," because the electricity would be arcing straight through his heart. And he even says at some point in the future, like, "Oh, the human body is a great conductor." When he meets him. Because he shakes Angier's hand and a light bulb lights up and he's like, yes, the human body is a great conductor. He's literally saying it.
We've all done that in school, the light bulb trick. We've all done that in school, right? Right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, okay, good. Not just me. That's
he's just
a relief.
so fucking rizzed up. He's just he's such a resonator that he can...
Oh, good.
Look at him. He's so epic in the film. Christopher Nolan had to beg him. He begged him to be in the movie to play Tesla.
David Bowie, please.
Please.
Can you do a Russian accent? I don't really know how to do a Russian accent, Christopher.
Was that what he was supposed to be doing? Russian accent. Oh god.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I liked his performance. I thought he was good.
They have a nice sort of tea out on the veranda or balcony or whatever of Tesla's weird shack on the mountain.
Yeah.
Tesla's shack.
It's like a giant shack. Very strange looking. Tesla asks if Angier has considered the cost of this machine.
Money is no object.
He's like, not the monetary cost, the cost. and there's some implication that it's like he's going to be selling his soul.
Yeah, he's like, not money. Something else is going to cost you dearly, my friend. So yeah, foreshadowing there.
Tesla's already started building it, although it'll take a bit more time. So take in, the mountain air, get a lungful. And then we go back to the past with Borden. This is post losing fingers. He has a new trick. This is the first time chronologically that we have the transported man.
Yes.
This is the trick. There's two wardrobes on either side of the stage. Borden walks into one, closes the door, and we don't actually see the rest of it. We see Cutter's face, and Cutter is very unimpressed. But we saw Angier was apparently the one watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little bit confusing, but it's kind of explained. Angier is in his workshop and he says, I've seen the greatest magic trick I've ever seen. A man walks into a cupboard, he walks out another one. And Cutter's like, obviously he's using a double, right? It's the most obvious thing.
Yeah.
He's clearly using a double.
There's no other way that you could possibly do that, right?
It's the only way. Angier has said he's watched the trick 3 times now, and both of them are clearly Borden. And Olivia agrees because they both are wearing gloves, but you can tell that they've got fingers missing.
Yes.
Despite them wearing gloves.
Yeah.
So it's clearly both Borden.
Yeah. Because he's talking to Cutter and Olivia's there, and she's like, no, it's definitely him. Or it's you know, it's a double or something. It's the most obvious thing. Like, stop trying to do all this mental gymnastics to think that like it's something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Angier says, "The man stole my life. I'm gonna steal his trick." Seems a bit melodramatic.
Very melodramatic.
Listen, I mean, but the thing is, like, if your wife's died and you think this man's killed your wife, basically.
Yeah.
You do anything to ruin his life sometimes.
It's just sometimes when you get the feeling.
I think I'll probably just ruin this man's life. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like ruining his life and career.
I just feel like ruining his life a little bit.
Cutter's he's on board with it. He's like, fine, but we need to find a double for you. Because that's how we're going to do it. We're going to use a double. That's the only way I know how to do it. Then there's a short scene where Borden has somehow bought a fucking big house for his wife and daughter, even though he's only just started doing this new trick.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that he's going to start making money soon.
Yeah.
But surely you should wait before just getting the big house. Seems a bit dumb.
Well, you know, it's like he's got two minds sometimes, really. He's very he's all over the place. You know, he feels one way one day, he feels another way another day.
Yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it?
So weird.
Christ.
So weird. What? I've not said anything.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
He's found his double, or rather,
Olivia.
Cutter and Olivia found the double.
Amazing. I've got to say.
A dashing man.
He's called Root, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an American actor playing someone called Root.
And
Australian actor.
This is the best role I've ever seen Hugh Jackman play. Because I haven't seen that one where the guy's got balls on his neck.
Oh my god!
I'm sure that's really good.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sure that one's really, really good. But he acts. It's very funny.
He does act like a fucking madman, doesn't he?
And when it's like they've managed in this shot, they've managed to put both the guys together. They've managed to put Hugh Jackman next to Hugh Jackman, quite convincingly, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree.
I honestly thought it was a person who just looked like Hugh Jackman. And they've like...
No, I'm pretty sure
they found a double of Hugh Jackman.
Literally found a Hugh.
No, but it is him with like prosthetics. They've put like a longer nose or something, and I'm like, okay.
And he's completely shit-faced drunk.
He's off his face. He's
an out-of-work actor. Cutter says, just give me a month. Give me a month with him. I'll sort him out.
Yeah.
Angier, he drops through the trapdoor as he's showing off his trick or rehearsing it with Olivia. She falls down with him and they have a cheeky little kiss under the stage. Ooh! I went, ooh, in real life when that happened. Then we see Root enter and he immediately trips, possibly over his own feet. I'm not sure.
He's just drunk.
He's drunk.
It's really good acting, though. I'm going to say it again.
No.
It's fucking great.
Pretty damn good. Especially when he, like, gets into character. When he's, like, pretending to be Angier. And I'm like, holy shit.
We think it's going to be a disaster, but he's very convincing at playing Angier. It's just another role for him. And he's an actor.
Well, he says a very interesting line. He's like, of course I can act. I've played like Caesar and it was like another person. And I thought those two examples were very interesting. Very ambitious men who, I can't say it because it's a bit of a Bit of a spoiler, but yeah, I thought him bringing up those two roles that he played were very interesting, and we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he does a really good performance, especially when he's like, "Oh, here's the door, here I am." Yeah, he really gets into character. He does a really good job. Even Angier is impressed. He's like, "Okay, all right, I'm convinced. Let's do this thing."
Borden calls his trick the transported man, and so Angier decides to call his version the new transported man.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's like the new is it the new X-Men or something that they like that they have like the new what was it? New Ghostbusters.
The new Ghostbusters.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had that.
Such a shit film. Oh my god.
So the trick works perfectly, but there is a problem with it. It starts off with Angier sort of being the good showman. He goes through his door, he falls through the trap door, and then his double, Root, comes up through his trap door, through the other doorway, and it's Root that gets the rapturous applause from everyone, whilst Angier is below stage,
enjoying.
just sort of
He's enjoying
trying
it.
to enjoying it.
Yeah.
He's trying, but it's killing him inside.
Yeah, he's not too pleased that he has to enjoy it under the rafters and stuff.
Also, Root cheekily smooches Olivia as well up on stage. He's like,
He's a fucking wanker, isn't he?
He's a bit of a dick.
He's just a bit of a dickhead, and it's like all of this is like just providing some kind of like, ooh, there's a little bit of tension here between that. He's like, he wanted this to be a really successful new trick, but this guy's fucking it up, you know? And it's all they could get, because you have to just go with whatever you can get, whoever looks like you, right?
Yeah. Can't really beggar be chooser sort of situation. It's impressive they even found someone that looked like him that much to begin with anyway.
In London. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive just in general, because I still haven't found anybody that looks like me, and I don't know anybody that looks like G. It's like, how would you go about finding your double? Simon's got loads of them.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I got Simon Lane, the pianist or violinist.
Yeah. Jesse Cox.
Yeah.
Jesse Cox.
Yeah, sure.
Man with beard.
Anyway. Man with beard and glasses.
Yeah.
So it's not enough for Angier. He needs to know. It's killing him inside. He needs to know how Borden does his version of the trick. And so he tells Olivia that he wants her to spy on Borden. Say, you know, you're sick of me. You want to join Borden. You're going to be his assistant now. And sure, she goes
was
along
not.
with it.
Yeah, she wasn't really happy about it though, was she? She was.
No, not really.
She was like, "What the fuck? I'm in love with you, and you fucking throwing me to the side. What is this shit?" But she still goes along with it anyway, because she's like wants to sort of get back at him in a way for even making her do that to begin with.
We go back to Colorado. Tesla and Ali trying out the magical teleporting machine. Angier's hat is placed into the cage. It gets zapped by electricity. It wibbles around a bit, and then nothing happens.
Absolute magic.
The hat's still fucking there. Nothing's happened.
Just burnt it. Just giving it a bit of a
little tiny singe on it. Yeah.
I think it's so. I think it's so funny. This whole thing.
I just love that Tesla's just standing there, just staring at it, like, what the fuck? Why isn't it working?
It should have worked. What the fuck? Olivia arrives at Borden's workshop, and she basically says, you know, I'm here to spy on you or whatever. And Borden doesn't really care. He says he knows how Angier's trick was done, because the double is mute, overweight, and unless I'm very mistaken, drunk.
Oh my god, I didn't even catch him saying that.
Yeah. I like the line that Cutter said at some point. So you're late and more drunk than usual.
Oh my god.
as well. It's like it's
That's
so
not
good. There's a few
That
Hear
is
that
few
when you
fucking
when you enter
amazing.
the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's hilarious though. I'm like, oh, he's already figured it out. God damn, he's just so fucking observant, this man. He's just such a gigabrain.
I think we're about halfway through the movie.
That is correct, yes. Halfway. So he's like talking to Olivia and she's like saying, oh, he told me to say this and to say the truth. And she does say the truth, but then she also says the ultimate truth about why she's there and why she was sent there.
Yeah.
In a way. But I think like more of that is
all
revealed.
just so confusing.
It is,
like there's
yeah.
so many bits.
Well, because they reveal more to what she said later on.
Because she's like, oh, he came here, he told me to tell you the truth, and he's like, yeah, and that's not the truth, is it? And she just sort of pauses,
Yeah,
and looks a bit sad.
yeah. And then later on, I think we get the full what she says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Borden is opened up a show directly across the street from Angier, and his trick is now called the Original Transported Man.
It's so funny how they just
quite funny.
Also, Olivia is like, you've got a really good act, right? Don't hide this, because these lacking fingers prove that you're not using a double.
Yeah.
Right? And they fall in love and all that shit as well, don't they?
Wait, so I'm confused then. Yeah, they do fall in love. I'm confused if she's like, you do use a double, but then he's like, what does she think he's doing? Is she convinced that he uses a, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, she doesn't know how he does it. She was saying that Angier uses a double.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know how he does it.
Right. But she never like thinks to go, wait, how? I mean, not that he would tell her anyway, but
no, that's the thing. She's hoping to find. She goes there under the pretense of trying to figure it out to take it back, but I don't think she will ever find out, and she knows that.
Yeah.
She just falls in love with him,
and she just doesn't care. She just wants.
Everyone's a dickhead, and I'm like, oh, he's cheating on Sarah. Oh no, he's cheating on his bloody wife.
Yeah, convincingly. When he like talks to either of the women, and he's so very, very convincing in his, what he's saying and what he believes. I'm like, oh my god, he's such a fucking sociopath. Jesus. Where are we up to?
Go back to Tesla, I think.
No. So Tesla, and then she goes and convinces him to be the assistant. And then
I'm very excited to talk about the bit where they go back to Tesla, and Angier's very excited to see what Tesla has built for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's expecting to have the actual working thing, the working machine.
Yeah.
And he zaps the hat, and it doesn't go anywhere again. He's like, fucking hell. And he's like, right, okay. We'll try it with something living. Okay, and he brings out a black cat.
Oh, I was like, Boof is gonna either love or hate
it's Copernicus, Mr. Ali's cat.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, don't spark the cat. And I was getting really worried about this. I was like, oh no, they're gonna
turn
fucking
inside out.
Yeah. It's gonna turn into a fucking amazing horror. A body horror type thing. But then it goes buzzed, and he's fine. I wanted him to become a hat though.
Oh,
that'd be funny if the entire trick was
machine.
It changes things into a hat.
Yeah,
and they've just been doing it with hats, so nothing's been happening with it.
Yeah.
And then the first time they use a cat, it turns into a hat.
A hat. And he's like fucking pissed off, and off he goes. He's like, you paid me, and I don't know.
You're scamming me, you bastards.
He's scamming me, and so then Angier leaves, and he's like, what's all that noise? And I was like,
sounds like two cats fighting.
And I was laughing. It's the stock sound of cats fighting. And I was like, it's because they released the cat basically after they'd finished. And I was like, oh my God, he's immediately going out and beating up some other cats. This is great. I love this. And he goes and he comes across the hat graveyard, the top hat graveyard from the beginning. And holy shit.
Oh my God.
There's the cat that was just released and another identical black cat.
Beautiful.
So now we know
That
how
he's scrapping
Tesla's
with.
machine works. It creates
Yeah.
a copy a little bit farther away.
It's a cloning machine, but the calibration's all off. So it's like down in the woods. And he's like, holy fucking shit, Ali, come and look at this fucking
It's
shit.
so funny. There's just dozens of these fucking hats.
It's great.
They've been
Yeah.
doing it over and over again, trying to get it to work.
They have tea and they were like, well, I guess our calibration was off. Anyway, and then he goes, right, cool, it works then.
Yeah.
Don't forget your hat.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Which one?
which one is that? They're all your hat, Mr. Angier.
I love it. It was
Oh,
so fucking brilliant. Like,
And I wrote down, this is the point I said, oh, I get who Fallon is now. I thought that beard looked silly. So I was like, Fallon is a clone from this machine
gotcha.
that Tesla had built for him. And I went, how many Bordens are there now?
Oh.
Do they execute them all after? Is it one of them in jail?
Right.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
I'm basically right. Okay, this is the machine that clones people, and how do you not have loads of Bordens running around?
But
and
at this
loads-
point, we already know that Tesla never built the machine previously. This is his first attempt at building it.
yeah,
Mhm.
He
but I
never
was like,
built boards in the machine.
did he not? Is that what I
No.
was confused at?
I think Sophie was confused because obviously Borden had sent Angier
wrote
on
Tesla.
a wire. Yeah, he wrote Tesla. So it's like, what's the correlation there? Like, why would he
Was it
send
just-
him?
Complete fucking luck.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
But
like
he sent him to like a man that could just make a machine that copies you.
yeah.
yeah, that's
guess
just
it
fucking
was.
incredibly lucky.
I guess it
would
was
thought,
just
yeah.
coincidence.
I mean, I don't understand that. I don't fucking.
Well, he was at
It's like-
he was at Tesla's show where he was supposed to speak, and he saw the electricity and whatever. So he probably thought he's clearly a very bright man, and he works on these sort of things that are very revolutionary, but hasn't made any sort of way in the sense of like, I guess what he wanted to achieve with that machine that conducts all this electricity. So I guess it just worked against him in that instance.
I don't know. Anyway,
Should we continue with Tesla and
Yeah.
And the fact that the fucking shack is just blown up
No, that's just
a
too
little
far.
bit later.
That's just too far.
That's
ahead.
literally 2 scenes later.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh. Well,
literally 2 scenes later.
there was a scene before this stuff, and I think it was he was talking about his wife and how Angier was like, I don't care about my wife. When he was talking
Yeah.
to Olivia, and it's like, I only care about his secret. And I was like, fucking hell.
and so there's been a running thing like where Borden says like, I love you, and she's
Mhm.
like, do you mean it today?
Yes.
It's like she can tell when he means it,
When he's
and when he
more
doesn't
in
mean it.
love with magic, or is he more in love with her on any
Yeah.
given day? So she asks him whenever she's like, oh, do you love me today, or
It's like he's
whatever.
got multiple personality disorder or something.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is such bullshit, right? You can love magic and you can love.
No,
a person.
Nope.
you can't.
You can't do both.
You can. It's only one or the other.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, all right, so Angiers gets his machine back, right? He gets his machine. He takes his machine to London, I think.
Yeah.
and
yeah. London.
he's got to take precautions because he knows that another one of him is gonna turn up. And I was like, oh shit! So they do it. He is going to execute them afterwards.
I love
because he loads a gun.
when
and he's
when
got
when Angier he receives the machine. It's in the hotel and he brings it back to London. But when he's
In the
still in
wardrobe thing.
Colorado, it's
Yeah.
in a lovely wooden box. And Nicky T, he's left a little note on there and it says, "You'll find what you're looking for in this box. Ali has written you a thorough set of instructions. I had only one suggestion on using the machine. Destroy it. Drop it to the bottom of the deepest ocean. Such a thing will bring you only misery." And I feel why
prophetic.
did you leave him the machine then? Why?
Well, because he paid for it.
He
so-
paid for it, and it's not as if you can tell somebody. You can't tell somebody, hey, don't. I've taken all your money and I've built it. Now you can fuck off. Don't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just giving him like a warning, like, dude, don't do that. Maybe just don't use it. But
you can't just tell. It's like me selling a pack of cigarettes to someone. I can say it will
To a
really.
child.
Yeah, don't do this, but I can't take your money
and not give it to you.
Not give you it.
Yeah.
And that's how you lost your job at Circle
That's
K.
how I lost my job.
Yeah.
My mum once got told off for trying to buy kids alcohol for a party.
What is your mother doing?
It was my sister's party, and some of my sister's friends tried to go to buy alcohol, and then my mum was like, "Oh, I'll get it for you," and walked in, and they were like, "No, listen, you can't just buy kids alcohol." She's like, "Oh shit, okay."
Okay.
Christ.
Oh, gosh.
So where were we?
Archie
I was like-
tries out the machine.
He tries out the machine and he's got blind stage hands. This is where the guy under
Very
the
cool.
stage, it's like, that's very fucking smart. So they can't see
Cutter's
how it
impressed.
works. Cutter's impressed. And I was like, oh, fuck. So
Well, he brings
maybe-
Cutter in and he's like, I don't want you backstage on this. Just do the front of the room stuff with your connections and all this stuff, and I'll take care of the backstage stuff. Because he
Yeah.
doesn't want him involved, really. He just
doesn't want him to know, I
Yeah.
think, as well.
Yeah, well, I think the less he knows, the better as well.
And I was like, so was there another Angier that fell in the box with the water? I was like figuring things out in my head there.
Yeah.
And then we get to another point of the story where we're figuring out that Borden's having an affair with Olivia, and his wife's getting fucking pissy about everything.
She's an
and
alcoholic now.
She's an alcoholic now, even though they live in a really big fancy house, and there's Fallon trying to look after the daughter while they're having a big argument, and eventually she tops herself.
Yeah. She's
She
in the
tops
room
herself.
that's got all the birds, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Very
Well, that's selfish as fuck, honestly. You've got a kid, all right?
And then Asuka runs in and she's like, Mom, I did it, Mom. God.
so fucked though,
Like
isn't it?
Evangelion. It's
Oh,
fucked.
fucked.
It's very fucked.
So
It's-
sad.
Yeah. Well, no, they had like a really big argument preceding this as well. Because
Yes.
I forgot that they were like really going at it, and Fallon was.
He confesses to not loving her.
Yeah, not today.
It's just not
anyway.
today, yeah. Which is like
She's,
fair. I mean, fair enough, but not fair enough. It's not like he's saying he doesn't love her at all, but he's probably thinking you're a lot today, and you're really. And she says, I think this is where she says, "I know what you are," which was like,
Yes.
which just was insane because we're like,
And
wait,
I'm
what?
thinking, oh, she knows that he's a clone?
well, yeah,
Fuck! Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like, I'm really like, I'm trying to work this out in my head
yeah.
as we go.
Yeah, because they had that fight, and then it cuts to her in his like little workshop, and she's like going around and looking at all his stuff, and then it like cuts to the rope, and yeah, she's just looking around the place before she just decides to,
taking the birds. Says goodbye to each of the birds. Goodbye, little birdie.
goodbye.
Bye, bud.
Has a couple
Goodbye, love
flashbacks,
you.
and even to the dinner, I think, because there was a really explosive dinner that they
It
had.
was tense.
Very tense, very tense.
We have it's around here that we have Angier. He shows off to like the big theatrical agent in London. He shows basically the guy walks in, Mr. Ackland walks in. Angier just immediately does the trick. He steps into the machine, he fucking vanishes, and then reappears behind them.
Amazing.
Like up in the stalls. And the guy is blown away. And Ackerman makes huge demands of people because he knows this show's going to be big. There's going to be 100 shows, and apparently the ticket price is high as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely batshit insane. And then we have like the first night when it opens. Borden's there in the audience, and the show opens with the spotlight on the fucking water tank.
Yeah. Well, it's important to note that Angier
Just
was...
to fuck with Borden, I think.
Yeah. He was away for 2 years, I think, in Colorado Springs, just fucking trying to decipher this book and obviously doing the stuff with this contraption, waiting for Tesla to do his work, blah, blah, blah. So I think he'd been out
but now
of...
he's back with a massive show.
A limited, I think. I think he wanted to do it for a limited time as well.
The extra special transported man. I don't even know what this one's called.
I don't even remember, yeah.
The super duper
Greatest Showman disappearing man.
So we have the machine on stage. Members of the audience go up and examine it. They piss off. The machine starts up. Angier does a wibbly face thing, and he's gone. But clearly, we see the floor move slightly. So there's clearly a trapdoor.
There was a very quick shot of the trapdoor opening, and Christian Bale's character notices because he's like, okay, that's where he's going. But yeah.
But Angier reappears up on the balcony. He's got like a power stance with the spotlight on him.
Yeah.
He says, "Man's reach exceeds his imagination." The crowd go apeshit. Borden's absolutely mad and he's ranting at Fallon.
I felt so bad for Fallon, dude. I was like, why is he like ripping him a new asshole?
Angry.
Very angry. He was like screaming at him like he's like a parent who doesn't understand that specific set of mathematics, and he's just like screaming at him like, why didn't you get it? Why didn't you get it? Why can't you figure it out? I'm like, oh my god, give him a break. Calm down.
So Fallon spies on them, and they see that they remove the water tank at the end of every show and take it away.
That's correct.
Which is important. Put a pin in that. That's important.
Put a pin in it.
And this is when Borden is like, okay, we're done. We're going to stop spying on them. I'm calling it off. We cannot beat this trick.
Just fucking leave it, all right? Don't fuck with it. Just leave it,
Fallon. And then we have the night from the start of the film.
Yes.
The one which we see Angier die.
Yeah.
It plays out the same with Borden examining the cage, pushing his way backstage, running under the stage, and Cutter notices him and goes after him. But Angier falls through the trapdoor into the water tank, starts fucking drowning. Borden is yelling out, "Where's the bloody key? Where's the bloody key?
He's trying to get
bloody
him
drowning!"
He's bloody drowning.
It's very funny. Borden tries to smash the glass, but it's too late. Angier's drowned, and Cutter runs in just in time to witness this, and he says, What have you? How does he speak again? What have you done? What have you bloody
done?
But the weird thing, because it shows it at the beginning and then it shows it now, and what they didn't show us in that first part was Borden hitting it with an axe, trying to save him.
Yeah,
so I'm just
he's trying to save him.
Like what? Like that wasn't shown to begin with, but then we see him trying to save him. So why are you still very like, oh, is he trying to save face? Like, oh yeah, he did try to save him. Why would he try to kill him? I just thought that was
odd.
But yeah, he's probably thinking, he's like sleight of hand. He's trying to make us think he was trying to save him, but he was just pretending.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Cutter identifies the body in the morgue. He nods.
Yeah, it's Angie.
And then we have the court scene with the judge sentencing Borden to death by hanging. He'll be hanged by the neck until dead. May the force be with you, he says, or something like that. We should skip ahead a little bit. Oh, this is when the visit in prison. This is what we should talk about now. The Borden's daughter visits him along with Lord Coldlow. And Borden's so fixated on his daughter, he doesn't notice. But it turns out that Lord Coldlow is Angier.
And he's not dead. Dun, dun, dun.
These are all the twisty bits that I was really liking, right?
Right, yeah. Because, that's true. Because I know. So, like, from your perspective, was it like, whoa, he's alive. Whoa, he's actually this lord.
I was wondering whether it was a setup by both of them. They'd both set one another up. Mm-hmm. Because I thought, right, Borden. I can't even fucking explain my way of thinking. It's so tricky.
One of them set the other one up, and then
I thought that Angier knew that Borden would want to drown him. So he decided, I'm going to make it look like I've killed myself, but I've got a clone and put him in jail. Right. That was the ultimate fucking, like, fuck you, you killed my wife. But his wife asked for that, not. So honestly, like,
it's her fault. She's dead.
Her fault.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
And the fact, oh my god, it's like,
I love that he hands him the how he does his act, and Angie is like,
just rips it up.
Don't give a fuck.
But I mean, there's the key bit where Borden says, "And you must be Lord Coldlow." Well, he says Caldlow, and then Angier says Coldlow, and yes, I am. I always have been.
Wait,
and that's quite important.
Oh, wait, okay.
So Angier was never actually himself. He was always Lord Coldlow.
Yo!
Which is why he had so many resources available to him. Because he's a lord, a member of the aristocracy. That's why he's got a mansion.
Oh my god, my head has just, my mind. I've watched this film so many times and I've never fucking made that connection. That's insane.
I thought it'd be important to point that out because
because
that
he's
answers your question earlier.
Well, because he's like, money's no object. I'm fucking...
He's a lord.
Oh, that's insane. That is insane. Okay, I'm very satisfied now. I
wanted to get to the even bigger twist that's going on that I just took me out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was laughing so much at his Borden's execution. Because I was like, they think they'd give him the electric chair, ha ha ha, lol. And
laughing out of mad getting
hanged. It was like, any last words? And I said out loud, abracadabra at the same fucking time.
No,
and I lost my fucking shit at that bit.
So you want to know something funny?
So good.
So both their character initials spell out Abra.
Oh my fucking god, you're right.
Borden and Robert Angier.
Yes,
Abra.
And I bet like that, like Coldlow, Cutter.
Cutter.
I don't know. Anyway,
probably, who knows?
Yeah.
But
and I'm like, and then you see that and then I'm like, okay, so he has a clone still out there, which I know is Fallon. Okay, and I'm like, any more clones? And then it's revealed.
You knew?
Wait, no. Well, I could tell.
Right.
I was like, oh, of course, because of course it's like clones. But then it's revealed. At some point after, because Fallon goes to see Angier or something to that effect, and he reveals that they were twins, not clones.
It's a really good reveal. There's the red rubber ball bounces down the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
Under the stage, way under the stage.
Yeah.
And Angier catches the ball and he's just fucking shot.
Yeah.
And then you see a hand with 2 missing fingers retrieve the ball from the ground. And then we see that it's Borden.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful reveal.
It's so well done. Like, I actually just got goosebumps thinking about it.
Angier, he slowly is like dying. Just enough time for like Borden to reveal everything.
Of course.
That Fallon and Borden were the same person, but they both played each role.
Yeah.
Presumably on alternate days.
Because he was like, which one of you is the man in the box? And he said, we both were.
Yeah.
So they both shared it.
Yeah.
And he set up Root, but they set up Root. They placed this little seed of doubt in Root's mind to make it fuck it up for him so that he would never be satisfied.
Yes.
And they would always be vying for the attention where they were sharing the attention. Obviously, when he got his fingers shot off, he was like, how can I do the tricks now? How can I do the trick now to Sarah? And so basically, he had to amputate 2 of his twins' fingers so that they could continue to be...
That's why they didn't look
like
healed.
a fucking chisel. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Sarah's like, oh, it looks like they're just as bad as they were the first day this happened.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
And basically, one of them was in love with Sarah, his wife. One of them was in love with Olivia.
Yep. So it was so good because it's like...
And that's why I was like, I she could tell when he means that I love you.
Yes.
Because basically one of them was saying it and he meant it, and the other one was saying it and he didn't really mean it.
Yeah, and he'd say stuff like, oh, you caught me, when she said like she wanted a bigger house or something, and then he said no, and then he reveals to them buying the house, and she's like, oh, but I thought, and he goes, oh, you just caught me on a bad day.
Bad day.
And I'm just like,
I'm allowed to change my mind.
Yeah.
Also, he doesn't like it when she calls him Freddie.
Yes.
Short for Alfred. And that's because there is no Alfred. It's Albert and Frederick are the twins.
That is insanity, right? Just
So
mind
Albert
blown.
doesn't like it when she calls him Freddie.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah.
not
He's not
his name.
Freddie.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh.
So good.
So it was all of this reveal that took this film to the next level for me, because it was so twisty turny, and the machine did only just bring him suffering, and it was all for nothing. And you realize that like Tesla had never built him that machine, and that's why he was trying to figure out how Angier did it. Because
But now
he
he doesn't
never
care
knew.
anymore.
But now he doesn't care anymore, and he just leaves him to die in the basement of this
A
place
lantern is
with his
cracked
machine.
open and
A
there's
lantern.
fire
There's
spreading
fire,
around.
and he just leaves.
You know what's ironic? So
10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife.
Exactly. Honestly, exactly, Simon. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Christian Bale's character dies. Wait, which one dies? Which brother?
Who knows?
You don't know.
No, I think it's the
The one that
so
loved
the-
Olivia dies?
yes. So the
and the
father,
one that loves Sarah.
the father
Oh, that's
is
so
alive. I think so. The father with his daughter. That's his daughter. That's not the brother. So
Right.
the guy who gets hung dies the way Sarah dies the way Sarah dies, and Angier dies every night the way that Julia died.
His wife died.
Yeah.
That's
getting-
fucked up.
Getting
yeah.
fucking like drowned every night.
Because he has to drown his clones, so there isn't all these fucking clones running around.
Yeah, and it's
But
just
Obviously.
it's the final shot of the film is as the fire spreads, we see all these water tanks
With
in
him.
these tunnels.
yeah.
Yeah.
What a cool shot,
All
by
with
the way.
dead Angiers inside.
Yeah,
It's just absolutely fucking crazy. And obviously, so since Cutter found out that there was 2 of them, he finds out what was going on when he meets Lord Caldwell.
Yeah.
Coldlow. He finds it out, and he's like, you fucking shit, you fucking dickhead. I saw you on that slab and you didn't even fucking die. And basically he was like, you didn't know which one he was going to. When he performed the act, he didn't know whether he was going to be the man in the box that would drown or the man that was on the stage afterwards.
So I had
Prestige.
I had a question about that because I was like trying to figure stuff out yesterday, and when he stepped in the machine and it made a replica or clone, was he the original? Like, so the Angier we
They're
see
all the original. Like
yeah,
the hats.
yes and no. Yes and no.
The
Like,
hats are all his hat.
yeah. But my
The
question
copies are still the original. There is no original.
yes and
There
no.
is no copy.
There still
They're all the
has-
same.
Yes, but there still has to be, like, not that it matters, but is he the first one?
The first time it happens and his first copy appears,
He
he's about
shoots-
to stop it and he says, "No, I'm," and he's shot
Yeah,
because I'm you. I'm the original.
right.
Or like, what's he gonna say?
Yeah, we
I'm
didn't,
the original, but obviously they don't know that they're the original,
yeah,
right? Because they have they're exactly the same.
yeah. I thought I was like, what the fuck? Like, who's?
Cutter figures this out, and he's like, "Oh, you fucking wanker!" So he doesn't want this little girl to suffer, and he finds out that Alan is her dad,
Yes.
basically, because there is a twin,
Hmm.
and so he takes her to him, and that's at the beginning shot. He's teaching her magic.
Oh,
well.
yeah, that's
So that's
true.
She's reunited with her daddy. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to be in the workhouse or whatever.
At least that's a happy ending in that sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's
But it's very confusing and convoluted. But honestly, those twisty bits at the end were absolutely
Very
cracking.
the
good.
prestige.
My God.
The prestige moments. Were,
Although the outro music of Tom York was
Most depressing song I've ever heard in my
a bit
life.
of a gloomy racket, wasn't it? I wasn't really
Christ.
sure that was apt.
Not
Uh-huh.
one of his bangers, I've got to say. Not one of his bangers.
Not one of his bangers.
Do we want to wrap up with our final thoughts before we then go on to trivia and etc.?
yeah.
Final thoughts.
You guys go.
Absolutely.
You guys go first, Simon.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was a solid film. High production values, very well made, fantastic cast, well edited, even though the chronology of it was all over the place. It was masterfully made. Like, I wasn't really lost during it,
Mm-hmm.
even though this is my second viewing. So
Mm-hmm.
it did take me a long time to watch it because of all the notes I was taking. So it took me about 4 hours to get through this fucking film,
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
even though it's just over 2 hours.
Mhm.
I felt I was engaged the whole time. The weird nested narratives, the stories within stories, flashbacks within flashbacks were very well done. And it really gives you something to think about, not so much because of the crazy twists or the sci-fi elements, but because of the themes of these two men obsessed with tricks and with each other and getting revenge. I enjoyed it a fair amount, but really the fact that it was such a well-made film sort of like ups the score. I'm just giving it an 8 out of 10, and that feels low. But 8 out of 10 is my
I think
final
8
rating.
is a still like a generous
not-
score.
Yeah, it's not a.
Yeah,
It's still,
yeah.
it's still a good
Score.
score, I think. So
I still feel bad about it because it's a great film.
it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, you give it whatever you want to give it. Like, no matter how I feel or whatever. Like, if you feel it's an 8, then it's an 8, and that's fine. That's a good. Like 8 is a really good score.
I mean, I rate Heat better than this, which is insane.
Oof.
But I stand by that.
Okay, fair
Fuck
enough.
it.
Biff,
Yeah. I put it as an 8 out of 10. It's quite magical, that.
Holy shit.
I was expecting like
Sophie
a
Christine
6
Rogerson.
or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know whether I still. Like, this is what I wrote down last night, and I'm going by that rating because
Okay.
I was pretty shook at that time, I think.
Nice.
I'm honestly like thinking like, wow, those twists at the end, perfect. And I was interested by the bits of magic, and there was little bits in there that, the chronology was really stupid, and I would have liked a better way of figuring out what was going on, I think. But it sort of gradually made sense as you got to the end of the film, which was very satisfying. And the editing, the special effects were fairly decent for the time, I suppose. David Bowie was in it. Top notch shit.
Let's dance.
Yeah, I thought it was a good film, and maybe I wouldn't rate it as highly today because I'm struggling to remember it and figure it out as much. But I'm going by what I wrote down yesterday. So
yeah,
fair enough. That's high. It's high as fuck. An 8 for
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And delighted. I'm honestly delighted that you give it that good a rating.
I'm not going to be an arsehole just because it's not one of my picks, you see. It's like I genuinely think that was a fucking a goodie. A really good one.
Amazing. I'm happy with that.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm going to try and... I mean, I've still got my list. I'm not going to, like, change out any of the... Aside from the one that I have to replace, which is this one. But I will try and put like more of what I like, more of these kinds of films, the ones that
I think the ones that you really genuinely like.
I swear to God, if you put another fucking Hugh Jackman movie on there, I'm gonna
I'm gonna put Prisoners.
Rip my dick off.
Prisoners. That's
Mail it to you.
I think if G likes a film, she can do whatever she wants. And she obviously wants to share these things, and it's just fortuitous that I really like this film too. That's great.
Good. I'm very, very pleased with the results. Very pleased. But yeah, I mean, I like these kinds of films, the ones that are like, very make you think, there's mystery, there's twists and turns, there's a reveal.
Absolutely.
It keeps...
Like Dead Again.
Yeah, genuinely.
Again, that kept me interested. I was figuring out what was going on, and it was super cool. All of these things, figuring things out and trying to figure out what's going on yourself.
Yeah.
And being that puzzled.
I think it keeps you engaged.
Right.
It keeps you thinking.
Absolutely.
It keeps you like, but maybe. Like, I love films like that. And if they can execute it well, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, amazing. Yeah. But Christopher Nolan is great. I think he's just a fucking, like, genius, personally. But
the GOAT.
He's the best. I would give this a 9. I think it's
holy moly,
almost a 10. I think it's like an almost perfect film. It's definitely in my top 10. I think the actors did a fucking amazing, astounding job. I think the adaptation, because it's based on a novel, I think the adaptation by Christopher Nolan and his brother Jonathan, I think they translated it really well. I think they changed one thing about the book to the movie, and it was something about their grandchildren and how their story would weave into theirs.
Oh, Jesus.
But I think he said that he just wanted to focus on these two because it would be, I don't know if he...
That's a relief.
Yeah, he said he wanted to stick to the 2-hour runtime because it would have been too much.
It didn't feel like that long as well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a slog to me.
No. It felt like pretty well paced and very, like you said, just very intriguing and mysterious.
It was so dense. There was just so much stuff going on. It like damn.
Yeah, because it just
you gotta pay attention.
It kept one-upping. Oh, I love that line. I love that. Are you watching closely?
Yeah.
It does things to me when they say that. I don't know why. I'm like, I am watching.
Oh my God.
I'm watching. What's gonna happen? This is so cool.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, it gives me chills because I'm like, holy shit, what do they mean by that? Like, it's so cool.
I have a tiny bit of trivia to just
trivia
slot in here.
Yeah, go on.
Because I've mentioned The Magicians, which is a film that was released the following year, which had Mitchell and Webb from Peep Show.
Oh God!
And it was basically parodying this, and I've only ever seen that.
Okay.
And it's his wife gets killed in a guillotine trick accident.
Oh, Jesus!
And it's just because they're shoddy and they're trying to win a a magic competition in some seaside resort, and they're all just really bad amateur magicians. But they were a great team when they were together. They did all these really good tricks. But the death of his wife obviously made them split up, and they were just doing fucking garbage shows from there on. But to even enter this competition, they only had one placement left for a duo, so they had to get on and get along and make it work just for
And
that.
how is that trivia for the Prestige?
Because it parodies the Prestige.
Yeah, it like influenced.
It did. It influenced it, and it was very. It's very funny, and I do recommend that.
There you go. It's got. Yeah, I'm sure it's like influenced a bunch of. I mean, I would assume so, but yeah, I didn't know that. I was looking at. Trivia
I recommend.
bits.
Yeah, I recommend watching that if you're into comedy sort of thing. It's not as good, but it's pretty good.
It's not a 9 out of 10.
Not a 9 out of 10 sort of film there.
Sounds funny as fuck though. I know it sounds dark, but like his wife getting killed in the guillotine.
And obviously they want to do the guillotine act again.
Oh, geez.
But he's like, he doesn't want to do it.
Isn't that an episode of Columbo?
Yes. It's been an episode of fucking Quantum Leap as well, pretty much.
Oh my god. So this was the film Nolan made between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Which is
crazy.
They were the reasons why this one was delayed, because it took a bit of time.
Right.
What a run of films that was! Like Jesus Christ. This was an adaptation of the Christopher Priest novel of the same name. You mentioned the 146 time jumps, which is insane.
Yes,
that is.
Someone should go through and just double check. One of our listeners just double check that there are 146.
Imagine like keeping track of that, because like I wouldn't know what's the present, what's the past, like I would lose track very easily.
It's hard.
This is Christopher Nolan's second lowest rated movie.
Yeah, which is
on Rotten
like
Tomatoes.
Insane to me.
Fuck?
It's so insulting because it is like, yeah, he's got other like really great films, but apparently the critics weren't like too fussed about it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
what I don't believe is that Interstellar is the worst rated movie, and it's got 71%, which blows my mind.
The worst one?
It's insane, isn't it?
What?
That's pretty mad.
Yikes. But I don't care what critics say. Like, generally when like something is scored, I just don't give a fuck, because again,
only our scores matter.
Yeah, only what we say goes, guys.
Yeah.
No, but like a movie is to everyone's own taste, and that's like what we're coming to learn. Everyone's got a different opinion. What makes someone, like something more than the other person. So yeah, I don't get it. I thought this film was like amongst his other ones. Truthfully. Like maybe because I don't know where it sits in his like filmography, like how many he had. Yeah, I don't know how many he had done up until this point. I think he was still very early because he'd done like Memento, right? I think.
Yeah.
What was it? Memento, and there was something else starting with an I. So he didn't have.
Not Inception. That's later, right?
Not Inception. It was something else. But yeah, I don't get it. I think it's like one of his best, personally. But
yeah.
Have we got any more trivia?
There's like one that I have with him and his wife, and he was told by Christopher to go and like do a bit of research on magic, and I think he'd gone to.
Who's he?
Oh, sorry, Hugh Jackman. And he was told, and I don't know why I omitted the name of the magician, because I think copied and pasted it, but he was telling the story, and he said, we went to this street on the outskirts of Vegas to this sex shop. I was with my wife, so there was the three of us at a sex shop, and he pulls out his keys and opens the door. We walked in, and I'm thinking, all right, what are we getting into here? And then he says, push the nipple on the mannequin over there. And
this is not real.
No, it is.
You're making this up.
No, it says, I pushed the nipple on the doors and they open, and we entered this museum the size of like 4 football fields of magic memorabilia.
Now. What is this nonsense?
It was 12:30 at night, and he did a 90-minute show for us until 2 a.m.
That is insane. That is
Yeah.
insane.
I'm trying to remember who the magician was. I don't know why I
I need
like.
to find this. I
Yeah,
need to find this.
you can
interview
double
or
check.
whatever.
It was. David Copperfield.
Ah.
What?
Yeah,
David Copperfield in his secret
yeah,
magic history museum in a sex shop.
yeah. It was a
Okay.
David Copperfield show.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That's crazy.
There's a fact. There's a fun piece of trivia
It's
for
a
you
hell
guys.
of a fact. I'm glad that you revealed that.
Yeah,
to us.
I thought
That's
you'd
the
like
real
that.
prestige.
That's the real prestige right there. And that's everything. That's the prestige, everyone.
The budget was 40 million. It made 109 million, so it did pretty damn well.
Pretty damn well.
Would it make a good video game? I think if it was like a spy versus spy type game where you set traps,
Oh man.
you're both playing magicians and you set traps for each other.
Yeah.
So
That
you
could
make the
work.
other person's tricks go wrong, you know?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
my
yeah.
idea anyway.
No,
That
I
was
think
my...
I think that could work. I think that's a really good video game idea.
Your list as well.
What am I replacing?
Yeah. What are you replacing?
So I'm like slowly adding. So I've got my list, and then I've got like the list of movies that I could like obviously pick out and put in and stuff like that. It's slowly coming together. So I'm thinking of putting Gatsby,
Oh.
which is a musical.
Oh.
Yeah. It's what's it called? What's the
Not
Baz
the
Luhrmann.
Great Gatsby.
No, not
but-
the one with
oh.
Robert Redford.
Oh my God.
Gatsby, Baz Luhrmann. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire. What's the woman's name? Williams, I think.
Is this a film?
Yes.
It's actually a film?
Yeah, look it up. Just type in Gatsby.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
Okay, Gatsby movie. The Great Gatsby. So it's not just Gatsby, it's The Great Gatsby. Got
Right.
Carey Mulligan, Tobey Maguire, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's directed by Baz Luhrmann.
Are you sure it's a musical?
Oh, it's not a musical. It's just got musical bits. It's got like
It's
contemporary
got music in it.
Yeah, I think the reason why I said musical is because they add like contemporary music, even though it's like set in the Roaring 20s. So you get like bits of like.
Oh no.
Well, if you've watched a Baz Luhrmann movie, which I think he did, what is it, Moulin Rouge? I think.
Oh, yeah, I've watched a few of them.
Yeah, you'll know he does like that kind of stuff in his like very. He would sometimes put like modern elements in like sort of like a historical set piece.
So it's kind of a romantic movie.
Wait, do you know the
about
story of
love.
The Great Gatsby, right?
Vaguely, yeah.
Boof?
There's a green
Not really.
light.
Okay, all right. That's good. You don't know because it's a novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and then it was made into a movie, and it had like Robert Redford in it, and I don't remember who played the woman, but and then this came out in 2013. I personally like this movie. I think it's actually all right. I think they do a pretty good job. It's a bit CGI heavy, but I like it. I think it's a decent movie.
Okay. If you
Yeah.
think it'll be a good watch, it's on the list.
I think so.
It's on the list.
All right, you guys,
It's
what's
time to roll.
any changes on your lists?
None on mine.
Nope.
All
we are
right,
happy with our lists. We're so happy with them.
all right.
So happy.
Let's
who
get
knows?
rolling.
We might get Who Killed Captain Alex. We might get Pass Through. Who
No,
knows?
who knows?
Okay, rolling for what number on our lists it is to narrow it down to one film off of each. It's 3. Extro, Sea of Love, and An Evening with Beverly Loughlin
Ooh.
are the 3s.
Dang.
1 or a 2 will be Extro. A 3 or a 4 will be Sea of Love. Oh, it's a thriller. Okay, that'll be fine. And Boof's pick the comedy Evening with Beverly Loughlin will be a 5 or a 6. What have we got? We got a 1. It's Simon. It's extra.
It's extra.
It's extra.
Yes,
Oh my god. Pretty different from this film.
Yeah,
Pretty fucking different.
Quite different.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I think it'd be great as a change of pace and yeah. You never know what the roles are gonna do. You never fucking know. Man alive. Extra. Everyone,
this
we're
is gonna
watching
be-
Extra.
We get a Simon pick. So we had Boof, me, and then Simon.
This
That's nice.
film is completely batshit insane.
Yeah.
Just as a warning, this is insane. But I've not watched it beginning to end, so this will be a nice one.
I really like it, and that maybe I shouldn't even say that. Maybe I
Boof
shouldn't
loves
say
it.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. You did say that before when I
did,
first
but
added
it reflects so poorly on me. I'm sure.
it. Okay. Well,
But you can join our Patreon where we give you bonus episodes, episodes a week early. And if you're on the highest tier, we will give you name a little shout out on the end of the episode. And you can also read our notes. Sometimes we put other stuff in there. I do need to upload some notes still. But we really appreciate people joining the Patreon because we love doing this. We love chatting shit about films. Thank you so much for listening.
thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye. Hi everyone, it's G, and just wanted to say a very special thank you to those of you who have been supporting us over on the Patreon on all levels of tiers. It means the absolute world to us that people support at any level. So thank you so much to everyone. But a special thanks to our Giga Yompers, Anki 13, Luck 33, I'm a Robot, Cornelius, Vander, Kyle, Scott 5877, Sleepy DIJ, and Cara Jackson. Thank you guys so much. If any of you want to support us over on the Patreon, it is patreon.com/yompcast. And we do a special shout out thanks to those at the highest level. So thank you very much. Bye.